be fun.
And Armin Saryan.
Oh, man, I don't know. I hope I can live up to the hype.
Nooners. Hit the guys up on the Pella WI Talk and Text line at 414-799-1973.
Unbelievably fantastic, man. I love to listen to your show.
9 to noon is brought to you by Palermo's. When you want pizza, you want Palermo's. Made right here in Wisconsin for over 55 years. Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. Welcome to 9 to noon.
9 to noon, Friday Junior is here. Pour them up, knock them back. It's a Thirsty Thursday, and we're here with you at 414-799-1973. What's good? Billy Schmidt, Armin Sari, and John Kuhn. Internet in the Megaplex, and a good show for you here on
you got it?
I am on Wi-Fi,
go.
not on a personal hotspot. We're going to slay the day here, John. That's all I just figured out here in the last 10 minutes.
Oh, yes.
I mean, how does anybody in the world of 2024, how could you possibly have gone 3 full days? I'm amazed by you that you went 3 full days without internet at your job. This isn't like a vacation home that's in a remote location. This isn't in an airplane, right? This isn't the state and there's that dead zone. This is, you are at your job.
The week of the start of NFL free agency, by the way. I mean, I'm not going to dunk the football or spike the football, but that is a part of it here.
Best and worst places to run out of internet, to not have any internet, no connection at all. You're just
a good one.
Down.
Best places on a vacation or cruise or something like that, right? Somewhere you don't feel like you even want to be part of the. I don't want to get text from anybody anyway.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I guess vacation would be one. However,
depending on the trip, because you want to upload some posts.
Well, you also want to have some security, right? Like that's where I'm thinking the best place would be stranded on a desert island. Hey, man, I got some signal. I can let everybody know your boy's hanging on out here with some coconuts and I need some help. But worst case would probably be sitting right here in front of this microphone on 9 to noon while I'm trying to check the talk and text line.
You're trying to do an informative show for people. Talk to text line.
Get updates. Would probably be the worst. I mean, I don't know, driving cross country or something like that. When you're on a long drive, you need a connection in case something happens. Or that would be kind of freaky.
On the long drive, you hit a downtown area, and that's when you lose your signel. With all the different exits, all the different turnoffs.
That's when you need it. But don't you?
They got a map.
Yeah, you go to the Old Faithful. That's when I've got my driver's license for the first time. You know,
your dad plugged you with a bunch of Wisconsin maps.
You
couldn't use a map anymore. I mean, you couldn't use a map anymore.
Why not?
There's no chance you'd be able to use a map.
Oh,
anymore.
I disagree, John. You gotta remember
while you're driving. I
didn't grow up dependent on. Well, I'd have to pull over. Maybe I didn't grow up dependent on all these, different types of technologies necessarily.
You think
I'm
you
not
could
that
use
young?
a map?
I'm not that young.
You think you could use a map right now?
I think your boy could use a map if I had the correct map and an atlas. I would.
You need a compass.
Hold
you
on.
need a compass, Armin. You need to know which way's north. You're down there in Chicago rolling around 894, 294. You mean to tell me you're going to know which way's north?
Well,
you're going to be able to set that thing? Okay, here it is. I hold this vertically, and I know exactly which direction I'm going.
All right, good point. John, the compass. If I know where the lake is, I know what part is north. Okay.
Or the other part of a compass, and 2024, the year of our Lord here. I think that Kia that you did buy would probably be able to tell you if you're going north, south, east, or west.
It does have a compass, and I have used it. Now, when I was a kid, my dad had a compass on the top of his dashboard. He did. He had one of it would stick on with whatever Velcro sticky thing. He bought it for us. He had it in the Plymouth Sundance right there. Boom.
See, I kind of picture Leon on a drive, taking his watch apart, taking the minute hand out of the watch and dropping it in the cap of a water bottle.
He's a smart dude.
That thing turn itself.
Yeah.
He's like MacGyver.
He is smart. But the thing is, the compass.
I mean, if your dad's the kind of guy that rolls into a gas station and pays, for a stick of gum with dollar bills because he wants the coins, just on the rare chance
that's a good point.
that he might get a special coin or might actually be able to use these coins in some sort of gadget later, then your dad is using definitely a minute hand out of the watch for his compass.
For the compass, absolutely. Not only that, so you had to have the city map.
Yeah. City map, full state map.
And the state of Wisconsin map. And tucked into the pocket of the back seat was the Rand McNally U.S. Atlas.
Oh,
okay.
Sweet Lord.
So you could
not touching that.
You could get major highways in each state. All right. So I would be prepared. It wouldn't be entertaining, but I'd be prepared to find my way.
You'd be trying. I think the better question would be, I mean, this is now 2 generations ago. I think that we're talking full maps. If you handed to pretty much anybody of my age group, right? The sub 30.
Yeah.
MapQuest printed off directions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was my jam.
How frustrated would they be? How am I supposed to know what 2.7 miles is without them counting it down to me? You'd be missing turns left and right all over the place, looking back down here, trying to figure out exactly what you're doing.
That's what it was, though. That's what it was in the mid 2000s when
These kids don't know how nice they have it.
They don't know. I mean, John, you remember.
The truth is that you actually, when you had to do that, you missed less turns than now.
Because you're more focused.
When you have something talking to you to turn.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All of a sudden, it's like, turn in 2 miles. Okay, good. We got 2 miles yet.
Future Beals problem.
Turn in a quarter mile. Oh, okay, in a quarter mile. You missed your turn. Recalculating. It's like, how did that happen? You're here to make it so I don't miss the turn.
Right, exactly.
Or at the last minute, oh no, this is 8C. All the way off the road. And you back then, no, Billy, 2.7 miles. You looked on the bottom of your screen. Okay. And you added 2.7 miles.
And the other thing is you didn't have multiple things going on your phone that would distract the interface. Because, you
shouldn't be on your phone while you're driving.
Well, I know. But the maps, okay, you might have the maps on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And you've got, your music app or whatever app, your iHeart app on your phone.
iHeart app,
and people are texting you and you're getting updates on your whatever Instagram or whatever it is and Snapchat. No, back then you just exactly. Well, me. But back then you just had your printed out MapQuest with the 8 turns you needed to get to the most exciting party you've ever been to, or someone's house or wherever you were supposed to go. And it didn't matter because you had your mix CD in the CD player. You didn't worry about what the music was. You didn't need your phone for music. You had the 16 songs you needed on that mix CD to get you there, and you were all good to go. You had your Michelle Branch or whatever you were listening to back then, and you were good to go. So
yeah, you had me until the Michelle Branch. But I'd be lying if I said it while it wasn't on 1 or 2 of the mix.
It used to take me one full college dropout to drive from York, PA, down to where Lindsay was living in DC.
That was
one full college dropout.
Yeah,
all
perfectly timed.
First song to the last song.
Great album. It's like I already heard through the wire. I already heard all the Family Business. All right, I'm getting closer. Okay,
I like Jeff and Fitchburg. Hey man, I appreciate it. Y'all are way younger than me. You shouldn't be doing old man radio quite yet. Well, listen, if there's better old man radio that somebody has, then let us know, because there's always something you can gripe about. The world's changing. We talked about it a lot with college football yesterday.
We did, yeah.
That, you kind of adapt or die. This is one that the adaptation, being able to adapt to making it easier to find places, probably has made it quite a bit simpler for all of us, but allowed ourselves to then relax a little bit.
Speaking of losing service, did you guys ever hear about the cell phone blockers for people?
What are you talking about?
In concerts and stuff? Is that the one where
you can actually knock out cell phones?
Yes.
There was a guy used to drive around 695 right around Baltimore. And there was always this time period in the morning where people would lose service on this major highway, and they couldn't figure out what it was, and they thought it was just a dead zone. And this guy was like, he was so sick of people driving around this major highway, 4 lanes on both sides, with their phones, looking at their phones, dinking around on their phones. He was driving with a cell phone blocker in his car to knock out everybody's cell signal around him.
That's priceless.
He got in a lot of trouble for it.
Yeah,
I could assume,
It's kind of a jerk move, though. That guy thinks he's funny, thinks he's impacting
Who's
everybody.
in the wrong here? Somebody that's staring at their phone, weaving around the street,
or
the
not
guy,
that
has the cell phone blocker to try and protect himself.
I don't know. I just feel like he's not really trying to protect himself. He's just trying to be.
He's trying to protect the greater good.
Yeah, maybe. And he thinks he's some sort of Camelot coming in, some sort of hero that's going to save people from themselves. You know what? This is
or save himself from them.
Come on, really, John? Do you think that's what was going on?
How many times have you driven down a road, Armin? Armin, how many times have you driven down a road? I know you've driven on 43 or 45.
Yeah.
Or what is that goes across there?
894.
Yes, 894. And it's, what is this person doing?
Oh, I agree.
You go and you pass them, and they're reading on their phone. How many times has that happened to you?
I mean, a lot. I agree. It gets you annoyed.
And what do you do in the moment? What do you do in the moment?
I get mad and I lay on the horn and I get
indignant. You lay on the horn.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it happened yesterday. I'm driving home on Lover's Lane, right by Loomis, and I'm in the roundabout, and the lady's supposed to yield, and she didn't, and I knew she wasn't gonna, so I'm glad I knew that because she was she had headsets on, she had a phone, she was talking to somebody, she had
that Google Eye set on,
right,
that
so
new Apple virtual reality driving around.
The brakes.
Just grabbing air and moving air all over the place as she's
swiping around.
So I laid on the horn and let her know what it was like. I let her know I know
what's up.
All right. Yeah. Now that's annoying, but it's still not my job to intercept. It
could be more distracting, more startling, but it is what it is.
I shouldn't scramble her signal or whatever this guy was doing, right? I mean, should I be? I just feel like this guy wanted the power to do it. It's like the kids with the laser pointers back in the day. They thought they were funny with the laser pointers having power. I'm going to put this.
Yeah, but no, that was just to be a hole. That was of safety in mind.
I guess.
I mean, Armin, think about this. You drove past, you laid on the horn, you yelled something at them. What's more dangerous? You yelling something at them? Now you're distracted.
No.
Or
safe when I
you just have a blocker in your car so that when you pull around this person, all of a sudden, they don't have any service.
I guess.
Just looking at the road.
Yeah, that's true. They are. But what they need what if they are trying to figure out
one of these
why their phone's not working? So then they're fumbling around with their phone. They don't know where they're going. You got Grandma Edna driving around that doesn't know where she's going in the first place.
Well, I don't think Grandma Edna's Snapchatting while she's driving.
Snapchatting.
No, she might be going 10 under the speed limit.
That's true. They're not using their phone. They already know by landmarks. My grandpa knew every place in the city based on where, by the gas station, by this tree.
True.
My dad was good at that too. All right. So probably not that age group. I agree.
No, you're talking about young kids that are distracted on their phones.
All right,
I'll be honest. When you talk,
can we get these scramblers or whatever?
I want to get one. I had thought that this would have only been something straight up out of The Wire if they're doing it in Baltimore, or what they all of a sudden in 24 when Jack Bauer's trying to figure out exactly how they could ping the guy that they're trying to catch for the terrorism threat going on, that they would block the cell signal. That's fantastic. This is available in everyday life.
Well, this was like 8 years ago too, so I can imagine.
Son of a gun, they're even better.
I thought
bigger and better now.
I thought you were talking about isn't it like what concert is it? Chappelle or Chris Rock where you can't take your phone in?
Yeah, they're now guys that'll lock them up. Yeah,
it's all of them now.
And aren't there like some big time celebrity parties where
I went to John Mulvaney and Mulvaney, and he made me put my phone into it, and damn, people are stealing your stuff.
Yeah, your stuff, exactly.
Are you serious?
Well, and I think these big celebrity
plagiarism has gotten bad, my man.
Proud of ourselves, aren't we?
If we went this far, this is at. I mean, this was at the Widener Center. It's not even at the Rush. They're stealing your stuff from the Widener Center? Come on.
We got to be able to find better material, fellas.
That's pretty funny.
We got to be able to find better. We have a lot of good stuff. I don't know that any of it's going to be better than what we have throughout the day here today for you at 414-799-1973. You want to talk about a change of heart? We've seen it before. We saw one yesterday that a little switcheroo in the NFL changes up a couple of teams in the NFC that the Packers are going to be chasing and competing with. We'll discuss that and a tie-in with the green and gold, maybe one that you would be looking for because there's still wish list members for free agency in the Green Bay Packers, who are at 414-799-1973. We're going to discuss, damn, Devin, are we serious? I'm like, damn, Devin.
Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible news last night.
Jeff Passan, could we give some good news for once? My man always gives out bad Brewers news. Is there anything that comes from Jeff Passan that's good?
It's almost a rite of passage now, right?
Dude.
The number one pitcher for the Brewers is going to, at the beginning of the season, have some sort of an ailing injury that's going to inevitably affect him for the entire season.
Man, in 2 stress fractures, like 3 months, that sounds optimistic. I don't know. We'll discuss it throughout the day here today. And oh, by the way, grab your forks because it's International Pie Day.
Oh, let's go, baby.
314 is in the building. Now, I don't know if new math, John, has changed International Pie Day, if pie is still the same as it was using the old math. But my math, I love pie. It's one of my favorite desserts. But I don't have it nearly as often as I should.
As you should, yeah.
Who knew that a made-up number would actually just give us all kinds of content on a random Thursday throughout the year? It's fantastic.
And how about it fitting into March made-up holiday month? Now, not made-up might be a difficult one, but just think of the cluster then. If you throw Pie Day in there as well,
okay, what? Yeah.
March Madness is essentially a holiday.
Sunday, yeah.
Selection Sunday is a holiday. Oh, by the way, the real one in there that people actually care about, St. Patrick's Day on Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of kills.
Let's get weird.
Yeah, Sunday fun day for sure. Talking about that, and city of Milwaukee apparently is the place to be for St. Patty's Day. We got that for you as well. It's 9 to noon. John Kuhn clocked in, ready to go. I'm Billy Schmidt, Armin Sarian, rocking some Michelle Branch with you. And we're everywhere with you on the free iHeartRadio app. It's 9 to noon on the Game.
Yeah.
Oh, when it all,
Yeah.
it all falls down.
This the real one, baby.
I'm telling you.
Chi-Town stand up.
Oh, when it
Southside, Southside, we gon' set this party off right.
I'm telling you.
West side, we gon' set this party off right. Man, I promise. She's so self-conscious.
9 to noon on the game. We know that you love hanging out with all of us on the Talk and Text line. You also can hang out with us on YouTube and X. Audience already building on up. Become one of the hundreds and hundreds of fans of 9 to noon. The nooners that are joining us and really getting a more, some it's gonna sound weird, some would say intimate experience, but more importantly, you get to see behind the scenes and you get to see Armin Sarian, John, freak out Muppet style.
Freak out all the time.
That's what you listen.
Yeah, it's true.
We don't even charge for this, but that's why you'd pay to be able to watch him on the bottom part of the screen lose his collective mind at least once an hour.
Yeah,
Armin freaks out. He pulls a Muppet. I have no background and I rub my beard incessantly. You know what I mean? Billy, you have that great Admiral shirt behind you. I mean, there's so many reasons to tune in on X or YouTube and watch us. And if nothing better, to interact with us like Packers, Tots, and Ends. Fellas, have you ever heard of a sextant?
I have actually.
What?
I have. Go ahead.
Do you got to hit the dump button?
No, sextant is a thing.
Packer, Tots, and Ends on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, sends in a picture of this device that looks like if it was in your pocket and you slipped, you could potentially impale and lose your leg. Right? It's called a sextant. And he says, not only should you always have a compass in your pocket, but you should always have a sextant in your pack so you know your latitude and longitude.
Okay, like you need a sextant if you're like a medieval sailor and all your equipment and technology goes down. Sailing, sextants were a navigation instrument that would measure like a distance between two objects relative to what you would see to what the reality was, and it would measure.
You'd
the
have
difference.
to be. I mean, could you imagine?
They used them in like Christopher Columbus and those cats used them. Like that's what it was. Like,
Look at that thing.
What if you saw somebody using this on the highway? You're driving down the road.
Yeah.
You pull this up.
Honey,
you're looking at the sun.
We're 10 miles away, honey. Yeah, I mean, I don't think a sextant. Like, I don't think we're using a sundial to tell the time anymore. All right. Like that's my thing. Now those things were very important for sailors, but that's how.
Yeah, Magellan was a big fan of his
was out
sextant,
there. Yeah, Magellan was out there with it. Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. I forgot about
Magellan. Was sexting before sexting.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Oh man, they were. Gotcha. They were. But I had a couple buddies that were into sailing.
Really didn't have nearly as much fun doing it, John. Sorry.
That
yeah. His sexting
was not nearly as enjoyable. No.
Yeah,
or dangerous.
But he could never get in trouble doing it.
That's true. Yeah, it was also not illegal, which is a good thing.
There's no receipts. Yeah. So absolutely. Wow. Anyway, yeah,
that's fantastic.
I had a bunch of measuring things. People used to be so smart to be able to use these type of things. It was how they would navigate the seas, right?
Now, do you cover?
Were they smarter then to use a device that looks like this that has 11 million different bells and whistles to it, or to create an iPhone?
Well, the person or persons that were smart enough to create the iPhone were smarter, but the regular Joe had more life skills. Do you think it's
harder to use an iPhone or this sextant? iPhones are not easy to use anymore.
No, you'd have to.
If you gave an iPhone,
somebody has no idea. Yeah.
If you gave an iPhone to Magellan, he's done. If you give me a sextant, I'm done. I think they are equally as challenging.
Right. It's a lot about how you grow up, your environment, like what you're used to using.
And would we be friendly enough in 2024 to then go and teach Magellan how to use the iPhone for them to Magellan to come and teach us how to use the sextant?
It's a great point.
Right. I mean, like, would we have worked settler wise where we said, listen, we help you, you help us. And then, at the end of the day, then we'll take you out. All right. But we need to learn some stuff from you here first.
You know what? Like, we joke about it, but back then, this would have been as important as the iPhone.
That's a protractor.
Don't leave home without your sextant. Keys, wallet, sextant. Right? Keys, wallet, sextant. Right?
Except it wasn't keys back then. It was horse.
Yeah, your horse feed.
It was horse. It was ruples, and it was sextant.
Yeah,
that's what you had.
Ruples, shillings. Yeah, what do they use for shilling? Oh, I know. Yeah, all I know is like that's like the three things every dude has is keys, wallet, phone all the time, right? And this guys were using a sextant. He probably had it in a satchel. You know what I mean? And people were trying.
People are rocking satchels again now.
Yeah.
Dudes are rocking the satchel now,
yeah.
which really is just the fanny pack across the shoulder.
It is a fanny pack across the shoulder, and I kind of liked when we got away from all the big bulky things in our pockets, and I love the fact that keys are no longer 7,000 keys on a keychain. It's just a fob. It's just a fob to get into your car, and you might need one key to get in your house because you might have a pad to get into your house too. I loved going minimalist. Now we are going back to, hey, give me the fanny pack so I can carry around chapstick. And pomade for my hair and every other damn thing else, right? Like, do we really need a damn fanny pack? Well, yeah, but Armin, you like to carry a lot of things in your pocket. How many keys do you have in your keychain?
They're by my
I bet 15.
I got a lot. I got I always usually have in here. I got a few keys. I got the house key. I got the garage door key. There's 2 keys.
See, look at you. That's why you are doing the checklist.
I've got my
keys,
Avanti
wallet, cell phone, because you have so many things you can't keep them in your pocket.
So
you gotta have less things.
I don't use one of those Ridge wallets now either. You know, the money clip ones, like the small. I still have
went to
my old Costanza wallet. I got my old Costanza wallet here still.
Have you ever paid for any? Have you ever used Apple Pay to pay for anything yet?
Not Apple Pay. No, I don't have an iPhone. I don't use the Apple stuff. I have an Android.
Greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, people like
you don't have your phone or your wallet. You just have a watch, and you just hold it up to.
Good call.
Thing, bam!
I get that. Yeah,
I can get the Slurpee from Shell right now because I forgot my wallet, I forgot my phone, but I still have my watch on.
That's fantastic because there is. Going out on vacation this weekend, there is that last checklist, and Vegas, I think, is the one place where you got to do the checklist twice before you leave the hotel room because you will inevitably forget one of those 3.
Well, that's for a different reason, though. That's because you can't necessarily remember the checklist the first time you try and do it.
Amen.
You're like,
so
damn,
excited.
It was phone, it was
water.
Keys. What else did I need? Rolling papers? Is that what it was? I can't remember.
Those are pre-done. Don't worry about that.
I know where you're going with that.
Those are already done once you get there.
You know, if there was only something that would do everything for you, you know, if there's only something that would, you know, start the horse, measure 2 celestial bodies on the horizon, man, it's almost like we should go back to the sextant. That used to be the tool, the Swiss Army knife, you know, the all-in-one tool. But I guess those times are gone, right?
So it was your phone, keys, and wallet. Is what you're saying.
Phone, keys, wallet.
Wow,
absolutely
interesting.
You know, you didn't need keys to start a horse.
Armin, if I got you a fanny pack so that you didn't have to
crossbody bag.
If I could get you, now you're calling it a crossbody. That's
crossbody bag. That's what that is.
That's
no, because that's what they call it now to make you feel cooler as a crossbody bag. And they sell Louis Vuitton.
Been calling women's purses crossbodies forever. So are you going crossbody or are you going fanny pack?
No, I'm not going
I take more pride in the fanny pack name than the crossbody.
I'm not doing any of it. Lars said
no. If I get you a crossbody so that you don't have to have all your stuff laying all over the place, are you going to wear it? Are you going to use it?
I probably won't. I'm telling you, I probably will not use. No.
What if it was a nice one?
What about a satchel?
I don't care.
What about one that doesn't look like the old school fanny pack, but looks like kind of a thin square, and it kind of hangs here, almost looks like
a purse,
like you're carrying around important papers. Yeah. Like you're carrying around papers to serve people.
Like I'm a
walk
courier.
up to their porch.
Love that.
What am I, a courier? Like,
hey, are you Bill Schmid from 97.3 The Game, and you work on 9 to noon?
Well, yes, I am.
That's me. Here you go. You've been served.
Okay. Well, man,
like a carrier. That was it. Remember the Seinfeld episode where Jerry had the purse, but it was a European men's carry-all? You don't remember that Seinfeld episode?
That episode.
You haven't seen that episode?
I didn't get that.
I probably wouldn't, John. I know they have these things. My brother-in-law's got one of those. He likes to wear it. I'm like, you know, the one advantage is, you know, no one's gonna pickpocket you, right? Because it's right in front of your body. You can see it. But I'm an old school guy. I want a medieval dungeon master set of keys going right in the left pocket. I got the cell phone in the right pocket and my big fat Costanza wallet right in my pocket. Okay. So maybe I'm more of a man of routine than I
to carry your wallet in.
You know what? In certain pants, it's too small. Actually, and then it makes me nervous.
What is the wallet or the pants?
The pocket, the back pocket is too small, and the stuff falls out
this
of it.
boy's got a wallet that's just busting open his pants at the seams. Look at you.
I don't know.
Damn.
The whole thing's
real light brag right there.
That's a subtle flex.
I don't think it's a
brag.
Look at you.
I don't trust the wallet in the back pocket. Not since I went to Europe. Nope.
Well,
no,
yeah,
I go front pocket whenever I'm in a crowd. It
and
goes front.
you're right.
Otherwise, it's back.
In Europe and in crowds, you have to put it in the front because you have to watch out for pickpocketers. That's what they say. And I don't want to be that guy that loses all the stuff because he got pickpocketed.
That's why I'm trying to go money clip. I'm trying it for the first time because I think it'll fit a little bit better in the front pocket. Because when you're a large individual, right, you only have so much room in the front pocket.
Yeah,
These pants are already busting at the seams.
Yeah, but
and my
you're
phone's already taking enough
You're
room
going to find money clip. Nah, it doesn't really minimize for you.
No
I love
different
these people. I love these people that are. I'm a money clip guy. I'm money clip guy. Okay, yeah. What's your money clip gonna do for you? Show me your money clip. And then he has his money clip, and he's got to slide 4 different cards inside the money clip. He's got a business card there because he's bigger than my wallet.
That's fair.
It's just a brag. I'm a money clip guy.
I also just got to make sure that I stop hoarding things in my wallet because that is always an issue for me. Get something, oh sweet, for sure, put it in the wallet. What was this business card that I got a year and a half ago from some random casino in Iowa? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna need that again, right? Like I don't think I'm gonna need that one here in Minnetonka. However, it was helpful at the time.
You never know. You might find yourself back there wanting to cash that in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go. We found it.
He pulls out his big fat wallet. Oh man, good stuff. But George, you know what? George Costanza,
we found that one.
Thank you, Billy. I'm glad too. I'm assuming you weren't that impressed with that.
No, I loved it, dude. That was great.
Good. I appreciate that.
I also love the fact that we've had 3 different of our listeners send in Zach Galifianakis from The Hangover with the satchel.
Yeah, that's
a part of this conversation. Yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate. Somebody walks down in your crew with that look. Now, granted, there's plenty of guys I imagine I'll see walking around Vegas here this weekend that do the exact imitation look of Zach Galifianakis.
Oh yeah, that's like a classic look.
But your buddy walks down with one of those and say, "He's not."
Do you have a guy in your crew? Do you have a guy?
I do.
I was hoping Armin would be fit. Did you say you do, Armin?
I'm not. I have a guy in my crew. I'm not that guy, but yes, I have a guy.
I was hoping you'd be that guy.
I was planning on him being that
He's
guy.
kind of because here's the deal. I feel like it would actually add to the crew because then every time you got something, you didn't want to hold it.
Yeah, Armin,
there you go, Armin. Throw this in the fanny pack.
Yeah.
And sure you don't want to wear one?
You know,
I think he's gonna have one.
Sure.
And I'm not. And the people that get them usually spend so much money on them too.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
Vuitton, Balenciaga stuff.
Well, you're not getting that. You're not getting that. But maybe I'll get you one from Lululemon.
Ooh, that's Lauren got that. She's like, you might like this, Armin. She keeps telling me, she's only $30. I'm like, I don't want to wear a belt bag.
I'm telling you, that's very popular with these lemon.
They love it. I got one for Laura for Christmas. They're like,
she wanted to give you a matching.
That's
so
why
if I got you a masculine color, come on, you gotta make this. Even Billy needs stuff. Yeah. We don't have enough.
Yeah, we got stuff that we need to hold on to.
At Nooner Day, we need you to carry stuff for us at Nooner Day. Before the end of it, it'll be like, Arden, here, hold on.
That's exactly
That's the last thing I want. I don't want to be responsible for anyone's phone and not be able to find you when Josh doesn't pick it up.
Oh, that's fair. That does happen. Yeah, that does happen. 414-799-1973. Promise football's around the corner. We got investing coming up in hour number 3. Expectations for Wisconsin and Marquette. They both kick off their conference tournaments today. Armin Starian is going to be at MSG coming up tomorrow. Hopefully, watching Marquette in the semifinals of the Big East tournament. But does it really matter? That's a fun conversation to have, and we'll discuss and expand upon it coming on up. It's 9 noon. 2 billion Armin on the game. I know you're fired up this morning if you got one of those free Iron Jack codes overnight because you already signed up for the Iron Jack e-newsletter at the bottom right corner of their homepage. If you didn't, excuse my language, what the heck are you doing? I mean, come on. It's easy. It's free. All you got to do is go to ironjack.com, sign up in the bottom right corner of their homepage for the Iron Jack e-newsletter. By Wednesdays at midnight, one email with the secret code goes out Thursdays in March. You only get a couple more to take advantage of, so go do it at ironjack.com. That's ironjoc.com for details. 414-799-1973. Before we get into some college basketball conversation, some NFL free agency, and 49ers getting spurned, which we always like to point out, especially when it's somebody that, interesting for Packers fans alike. That comes up in about 15 minutes. Tie a bow on this Satchel conversation as we're trying to listen. I think Armin would be, John, a good bag guy, right? Like there's certain guys that are good hat guys. I think Armin would be a good bag guy.
I hate to say it, but I think both Armin and Josh would be great bag guys.
Well, see, and I think Josh already is.
Josh, I can see that.
Right. Because he's got to carry around 4 cameras for Zabin. Right, like he's got to bring a one-string backpack. Yeah, 2 Roosevelt shirts.
Right,
like at least to every event. So I think
if he rolled a Roosevelt shirt up and stuck it in a fanny pack,
just in case,
for the picture or the shorts.
I know, but I think you guys will both. I think it would work for your personalities and your character too. I'm really trying to talk you into getting this fanny pack so that you can hold all of our stuff down at Nooner Day.
That's what's necessary for it.
Don't know if that's a compliment, John, or not, or what that was supposed to mean, but okay.
And I'm not talking about Nooner Day at Potawatomi Hotel Casino because that's what we like to call a pop-up Nooner Day. That came out of nowhere. That's a pop-up. I'm talking the real Nooner Day, June 26th with the Brewers. That's the one I'm talking about. The big one, June 26th. We need you in a fanny pack by June 26th for Nooner Day 5. We need you in a fanny pack.
How about this, John? And I think this is maybe the number one way that Armin gets sold upon it. This is more practice. You know what has made me more confident? Really kind of wearing just about anything and everything.
The diaper bag
is the freaking Disney diaper bag that I have to throw over my shoulder every single time that we take young Carson out of the house, because of course we're getting a Disney one, right? And of course the second one that we get, that one's also going to be Disney. So you might as well you then learn no one cares what I'm wearing unless it looks cool. And I make it look cool.
Yeah,
I think you're going to make it look cool. And that's good training for when you're carrying the diaper bag.
That's a good point. I'm ready for that. Actually, Laura
I was fired up about that. Fired up about carrying stuff for his unborn baby, but not us.
It's also like wearing a wedding ring without the wedding ring. You throw a baby bag, you throw a diaper bag on.
Okay.
That's a statement piece, Armin. You throw a fanny pack on. That's a statement piece because no single man's gonna be rocking a fanny pack. So
okay, so you're saying
it's just your way of saying
to let people
girls,
know.
even though you like everything that you see right here,
can't have it.
I'm already taken. This strap across my chest
lets
proves
you know
that I am taken.
That might be true. That might be true indeed.
It's like a big old stop sign. I like it. Bill in Iron River has a suggestion for us on this one as well at 414-799-1973. Hey, Bill.
Hey, I used to talk to you, Bill, when you were with Tim on the postgame.
Oh, good hearing from you again.
Yeah, I was just telling Armin, I asked him if he'd wear a fishing vest. I've got this really cool fishing vest. It's got about a dozen pockets.
Oh,
one
there you
pocket's
go.
big enough you could throw a bottle of booze in it.
Whoa.
You don't have to worry about a flask. But it's got a big back pocket. You could carry diapers in that, too.
So Bill, I could carry a fifth and a couple of diapers in this fishing vest and have more room for other things?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right,
Bill. I am totally entertained with your banter this morning. It's great.
Thank you,
Bill.
Bill, we appreciate it. And
you too, Bill. Thank you.
Listen, I'm completely entertained with the idea of why have one big pocket that hangs around your chest when you could have 17 different compartments on your chest. What Bill's explaining right now is bringing back cargo shorts, but bringing it on the torso. Putting cargo shorts on the torso.
Yep.
All the pockets to fit all the things. When you wore cargo shorts, Armin, it didn't matter how big your wallet was.
Did not.
You just threw that thing in there and let it flop around the whole time. You just had to make sure you had a zipper or Velcro so that the pocket actually stayed shut.
You're right.
You didn't have to worry about stuff falling out. You could throw keys in there, lip balm, whatever you like to carry. I mean, you could carry your pomade in cargo shorts. You could do that with a fishing vest too.
You're right.
Can we make fishing vests popular, or does that take Kanye West to do?
Well, that's a good question. I think maybe
Kanye or Luke Combs.
the full fishing vest, you could throw it on over anything. Maybe
Sure.
you walk up and down the strip in Vegas with the fishing vest on, right?
Well, and you know what? It's probably cooling, right? Like, I mean, those fishing shirts are actually some of the easiest, most breathable shirts that you're going to put
And
on.
and in Vegas, if you wore the fishing vest only, just the vest,
Yeah,
and the
there you
shirt
go.
under the
I'd
vest,
fit right on
just
in.
rock the vest.
And if
Yeah,
I had the taco meat like Armin, I'd really be cooking with gas.
Yeah.
People would be coming on up trying to tip me for pictures.
they'd be tipping you for pictures.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the same thing I was thinking. They'd be tipping you.
Jeez.
They'd be like, "Oh, look at this character."
Bill just put
Mario,
an idea in my head right now.
Showgirls, Mario, Sonic, guy in the
And if
vest.
there's a place you can, if there's a
You know how it is.
if there was a place you could test out the fishing vest for not just street cred, but of the ability to carry everything that you might need in
Yeah.
Vegas. I mean, Vegas, Miami, and those are probably the two best
Two
places
biggest
to
ones.
give this hypothesis a try.
Yeah.
State Fair, I think, is the third one.
State Fair would be another great one.
State Fair completely fits in.
People that
They're
are
gonna
wearing
think you're
fishing
they're
vests
going to
there.
think you're running the fishing stand, right?
Yep.
Where
That's true. You actually could fit in there.
Hey, you got any lures in there?
Yeah.
I want to fish. I'm in line to fish here. Why you keep talking to me?
John's like,
Because
I'm
you have
ready
the
to fish.
fishing vest on. Oh,
That
see,
makes sense.
damn
Okay,
it, Bill.
gotcha.
Thanks for the idea.
I told you. What are you working with? Top water lures there or something? I don't know. I don't
Right,
fish
you got
enough.
anything for free in there? Oh yeah, here I got a couple of cold baits for you. Don't worry about
What's
it.
the fishing lure talk, John? You know better than us. I mean, I need to get my fishing lure lingo back, before I try to make jokes about it.
I'm just impressed that I knew lure, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
like, listen, I'm all for though catching those fish, throwing them back in, and
That's
looking
hilarious.
cool in a fishing vest, which I might be able to do potentially. That's a great suggestion by Bill and I.
It is. Way to go, Bill. All
Thank
right.
you for that. Thank you for that, winner. AT&T. The other part of the one that I've thought of with the cargo shorts. Now, I wore cargo shorts far longer than people should have, and or was socially acceptable, John. That was a helpful deal. Like, I'm sorry. I know it maybe looked goofy, especially at the end of the day when I had my digital camera in one side because, I wasn't old enough to have the phone.
Yeah, take pictures.
It was needed. It was necessary.
You
It was
had
helpful.
candy. You had some candy in the other one.
I was
right?
300 pounds, Arm, and of course I had candy in one of them.
You
Let's go.
might-
I mean, great place for snacks.
He had candy, a concrete mixer, and a dilly bar hanging out in one of the
Dilly
pockets,
bar.
just in case he got hungry.
Yeah.
I had a moon pie, an RC cola, and
Thank
a
you.
wallet.
What? Everything
And
else.
they fit. But the reason cargo shorts went away is because now we all have to wear shorts. Now, listen, inseams are getting down to 5 inches.
5 inches.
This
is the
is
spot.
this is by far. This is going by far too far to the other end of the pendulum. The inseams, 7 was far enough.
I'm with
men.
you on that.
We do not need 5-inch
Yeah.
inseams. It's the death of the cargo short. It's why we can't do it anymore. When cargo shorts used to go just below the kneecap, it was a perfect length, and you could fit everything in there.
Yeah.
Everything.
It was awesome.
Now you got to slam it into that little pocket on the 5. I'm not saying we have to go back to N1 baggy shorts, the N1 mixtape.
I'd
Down to the
prefer that
ankles.
than all the man thigh that is being shown
Right.
across America
It's a
these
lot
days.
of thigh these
Whoever
days.
told Americans that man thigh is a good body part to show on off was lying to you.
What women did, that's what happened. They like it.
5-inch inseam. That's not an exaggeration.
I
That is
know.
a real
That's what
thing
you buy
these
now.
days.
That's what
That's
it
a real
is.
thing. I go no shorter than 9. I will accept 7 if you have,
Lindsay will say,
perfect,
come on,
perfect
7.
men legs, but 7, no. 7, no.
And
9 is
John,
the
I don't-
shortest.
I don't know that the perfect man leg really exists. It's kind of a gross part of most humans. I mean, you really got to be doing some hell of the lunge exercises to have that
Well,
thing set on out.
The only way you should be wearing 7-inch inseams, let alone 5, is if you cycle, is if you're on that Peloton and
that's
you're one
good
of those
call.
people that
Sure.
you're one of those people that have 5,000 rides. I never understand because I feel like I've ridden this bike a billion times since Lindsay got it for me 2 Christmases ago. I'm up to 125 rides.
No, there's no
120
way.
Pretty good.
And I'm up to 125 rides now since 2 Christmases ago. And there are people that have 5,000 rides. I'm calling BS on that. But
Yeah,
then
they live
I
on
hear
it.
a 5-minute ride counts as a ride. And I kind of, people are
I
just,
mean, we need to change it up a little bit. They're
just,
cheating the
you know,
system.
Yeah, they're just looking for that cred. All they want is ride cred.
Well, you know
They're
what?
getting as many rides as they can get.
You know what they're doing though, John? They're only cheating themselves.
That's right.
They're only cheating themselves. They're the ones that are losing out on that with those 5-minuters.
If you're in CrossFit, if you're a UFC fighter, and if you ride the Peloton, only way you can wear 7-inch inseams or shorter.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even then, I think it's not shorter. You can't
UFC guys probably have to rock a couple of those. Outlaw Pete, wait, bringing back cargo shorts? I never knew they were out.
There you go.
Like more and more guys are jumping out of Chad and Merrill. Finally, someone caping up for cargo shorts.
Yeah,
they were helpful.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, all we have to do is get cargo shorts and the fishing vest into a Lululemon line or a Viore line or one of those athletic gear lines that are
cool,
soft and cushy.
Then it'll get popular again.
And if people could do yoga in cargo shorts and a fishing vest, they would sell in 2 seconds.
In 2 seconds, because that'd be the style now. Absolutely.
There you go, Paulie Hansen.
Jared,
you got your next mission.
Jared thinks we're just skipping leg day and don't want to admit it, because legs are big these days, leg day and all that stuff. You got AJ Dillon naming his quads. So that's what it is.
I'm sorry. No. Go back to the buys and tries. Leave the quads at home. We can keep the quads in the garage and cover them bad boys up.
You guys ever see that picture of Larry Nance in the '84 slam dunk contest?
I have not.
My man had legs. All right, those were legs in that picture. I'm just letting you know.
I'm a big fan of them, huh?
No, I'm just saying he didn't skip leg day.
There we go. That was an on fire hour number 1. I always say hour number 3 is going to be our best one yet. That one's going to be tough to top. Hour 2 around the corner. Should we care as much about this tournament tipping off for Marquette and Wisconsin, or is the one next week the only one that matters? Where does this fall in line? Marquette and Wisconsin start a Big East, Big Ten tournaments, as well as a former Viking spurning the Niners and joining up with a former Viking. Would have been on a wish list. Who's on your Packers wish list? That's next. It's 9 to noon on the Game.
Ocean Avenue, where I used to sit and talk with you. We were both 16 and it felt so right. Sleeping all day, staying up all night.
Thanks for hanging out. It's hour 2 of 9 to noon. Appreciate you hanging out, watching us on YouTube and X, or the Twitter, as kids still call it Twitter. Most people still call it Twitter. I still think you're tweeting on X, right? Like, no one's actually going in with a full calling it a post on X anymore, right? Like, I know that's what Elon wants. Oh, he does.
Doesn't Mike just call it X? He's like the
one
guy.
He hardcore just calls it X. But is he called still a post? You're still tweeting on X, I feel like.
I know. He says X poll. I don't know if he said X post. You're right.
I hope not.
I don't know.
Twitter sucks. I'm just going to say it.
What?
For as much as we are absolutely linked at the hip to it,
just tied in on it.
You can just be duped at any given moment. There's AI all over the place. And the fake, the blue check marks without actually being who you are. I mean, Tyreek Hill was talking with Hunter Renfrow yesterday, and it wasn't even Hunter Renfrow. And it got me so interested in thinking about different scenarios of things that could happen. And it was because the real Tyreek Hill was talking to the fake Hunter Renfrow. Yeah. It actually takes more work than what you think to try and decipher what the hell is going on.
Validating stuff has never been harder on there, right? And I thought that's what Elon was planning on being able to do, was correct that and make it easier to sniff out. Now they definitely like calling out different things that are wrong that people throw on up with the little, whatever it is, community service, community notes. That's what it is. But yeah, it is difficult. More difficult now than ever to figure out who you're actually talking to,
which kind of does stink because I did like knowing it was that actual person. But you have to just do a little extra work. You have to click on the profile, see what kind of posts they have, see how many followers they have.
Yeah, but some of these parodies accounts
are pretty damn good.
People, yeah, the fake Mike McDaniels. I mean, he's fantastic, and he's got a lot of followers, and it takes a minute for you to go.
Yeah, I guess so.
The funny thing is, I mean, that app is still free. Like that is the one that blows me out, blows me with some of the crazy videos that you see on there. Man, we're still getting this for free. America's in a pretty decent spot.
Yeah, I know.
Now, I know TikTok was in there. I know issues yesterday, but we still get that. We still got Twitter at this moment to enjoy it for now. What you can also do is you can enjoy the thoughts of the NCAA tournament 1 week from today.
Oh, baby.
1 week from tomorrow, this radio program, live from Rockin' Brews at Potawatomi Hotel and Casino Sportsbook. Right up, you walk in the skywalk, park on the 4th floor, because then you walk right in onto the skywalk. You'll look to your left, through the metal detectors, there's Rockin' Brews. Simple as that. Like, that's as easy as it is. You don't have to go up and down any stairs.
Yeah.
Park on the 4th floor of that structure, John. I'm trying to let people work smarter, not harder.
And I would actually park your car. Don't toss the keys to that guy that you think is working valet out there smoking a cigarette. He's not. And you're not just running into
he puts in the body bag.
A couple bets at the kiosk just inside the metal detectors. You're actually coming in to have yourself a damn day. What's great about this is everybody's excited about this. Billy, you're excited about it because you're walking into a casino. So you're already on 100.
Dialed in.
Armin's yacked about this, because he's going to get to meet 2 really incredible Marquette alum, for the tournament. I'm jacked because we're going to get to crush some beers with the Nooners after the show and watch some games with them. So we are all excited for our own individual ways, and it's a pop-up Nooner Day. It's a pop. We're calling it 4.5. It's a pop-up Nooner Day. We're going to have ourselves a damn day.
It's going to be awesome. Absolutely. Can't wait for the tournament. I mean, this is my favorite. I love March. I love college basketball. As you guys know, one of my favorite times of the year. My team's in a good spot. Mostly, I would say.
Except for Tyler Kolek not playing tonight. That's not awesome.
Shaka said yesterday, though, if it was the NCAA championship, he'd be playing. It's just a pain management thing. We're going to wait.
So do we have to get to the national championship game to see him?
When does it get important enough? What if it's the Big East championship? What if it's not the NCAA championship, but the Big East championship? It's funny. You heard if this was the NCAA championship, he would be playing, and you felt good about it. I heard if this was the NCAA championship and he would be playing, I felt poorly about that. I thought, so NCAA championship, so the Big East tournament, no, not important. That's the way I felt about it. And that told me, it told me Tyler Kolek's not going to play in this tournament.
He said that. He said.
Do you think he's going to play? Do you think he's going to play tomorrow night or the next night if they make it?
I think he wants to play. I think he'll end up playing
Saturday
night. Hold on.
He didn't say Big East championship. He said NCAA championship.
Shaka said yesterday he'll be ready for sure for the tournament. He's going to play in the tournament. It's just pain management. They're trying to handle the injury correctly. They don't want to, they don't want him to injure it further. He said it's a day-by-day process. As of Thursday, he's not going to play Thursday. They're going to evaluate on Friday if they make it. And
yeah, he's not playing in New York. He's not playing in the Big East tournament.
I don't think, you're probably right. I think they're going to play it safe and not, but he will play in the tournament, which is NCAA tournament, which is the most important thing, right?
Okay, so
the most important thing.
Okay, so
so you just answered it.
Yeah, so Big East tournament means nothing.
No, it doesn't mean nothing. It was fun last year to win it, and I was very excited, and it was a great memory. Doesn't mean nothing, but it's not it's not the main tournament that we're focused on to try and win, right?
Okay, so it means nothing. But we've already heard many people say that the regular season means more than March Madness. I mean, Billy has
the body of work
almost gone there. Mm-hmm. He's hinted towards the regular season is more important for judging the body of work for a team. If you win your regular season championship, that's more important than a national championship. That was a take not by me.
Yeah,
that was a take by a guy who played college basketball.
Yeah.
Butchie.
Yeah,
so where does these the conference tournament ranks below the regular season championship and below the NCAA championship?
I think that's accurate.
And we can argue over which one of those means something, but the Big East championship, the Big Ten championship, what do they? This is all they matter for. They matter for teams on the bubble. That's
and dollars and cents.
Agree.
It's teams on the dollars and cents for the NCAA and the schools.
Yeah. Yep.
But it means the only thing it means for the bubble teams. That's the only teams that have a meaning in their conference tournaments is if they're a bubble team. And the thing that makes it so much fun is you have bubble teams and then you have teams just playing spoiler. Like,
just trying to
the hell with you.
Day.
You need to get in? No, we ain't letting you in. Bye.
Well, that's the funny thing about last night is Villanova is squarely on the bubble. They're like, I think, last 4 out or last 4 in. So they're on the bubble, and they roll up to 3-28 DePaul last night and almost blow it.
That was 22 points. Why did I not take that? 20, that was the easiest pick. That is 22 and a half points.
Oh, my God. I think it was up to 24 and a half before the tip. And listen, all I could think about was my guy that was convincing me about his DePaul strategy about
to take the money line every game.
They weren't even offering money line. That's how bad of a dog they were. They were not offering money line. I could not believe that DePaul almost won a game last night, which would have been great for me because Marquette gets DePaul, which means boom, we're in the semifinals. And that means boom, I'm going to see them play a game at Madison Square Garden. Now they got to beat Villanova tonight, which Villanova in theory should be hungry because you said, John, it matters for the bubble teams.
And which is the latest game in the schedule here tonight.
It's the late game,
MSG. So you might be on a plane during that game. Oh, you're losing your mind.
I think we'll be landing during the second half or early in the second half. I'll be losing my mind, having to go through and we have to figure out LaGuardia. Armin, get you walk through this. Where's our Uber going to be? And I'm sitting here sweating out probably a 5-point lead. That's probably what we're going to be at in that situation,
Yeah, in between 3 and 8.
I would say.
To John's point.
And then you got to take a 4-hour drive into the city from LaGuardia.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know it. You don't think I know? The Grand Wick or whatever the roads are.
I've never been to New York. It's that long to get on in?
It's traffic.
Billy, it's 7 miles and it takes an hour and a half every time.
I've only
7 miles and it's an hour and a half every time. And it's in an Uber and it's miserable. And you got to walk into this weird area of the terminal to get the Uber. Of course, you can't pick them up out front because those are only for taxis. And you got to walk to the special Lyft and Uber spot. And it's a pain.
Yeah, that sounds miserable.
Well, I've only been there a couple of times, but that's what usually is, a lot of traffic and all that stuff. But I've watched enough Seinfeld to know how that goes.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. All the great stuff that's in Wisconsin, but one of the greatest things is just our airports. But for Milwaukee Milwaukee's our big airport. Milwaukee is cake.
It's the easiest airport. It's the best.
Easy in, easy out. Phenomenal long-term parking right there.
Right there attached.
Milwaukee is the greatest airport for, I would say, give all that area 1 million people, right? I know the city's not listed 1 million people. Give Milwaukee 1 million.
Our metro area is.
Well, you know what, the airport.
Oh, I thought you were adding something to that.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
so that's what I was saying. You said you said the exact same thing that I said.
Milwaukee's population is 600,000.
Yeah,
and our metro area is like 1.1.
There we go.
Yeah,
we're in there.
Exactly what I said. But thanks for giving it
I'm
exact numbers. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I was confirming it.
But for 1 million people, that airport is phenomenal.
It is. And my favorite part about it is, John, I'm going to fly out at 10 tonight, and I'm going to roll up there at probably about 8:30 and be able to walk right on through, say thank you very much, take my shoes off, put them back on, and be rolling onto the plane. And hopefully, no Boeing 737 MAX issues on the flight later on here today. Because hey, listen, reading online, that's a major question mark.
You shouldn't read that stuff before you fly.
It's
not going on
idea.
WebMD. It's probably not a good idea. But
I want to get back though to the Big East Big Ten conference tournament thing that John was tapping into, because it's funny where the Power 5 conferences, the ones that people want to be watching, right? The Big East, SEC, Big Ten championships that are going to really start in earnest here today. They kind of started last night. Those matter so little, where for the smaller conferences, this is the championship, right?
That's true.
Where in the Power 5, John, I do kind of believe you see the best teams the best judge of the teams is the regular season. How do you perform through the entire season shows how good of a basketball team you were that year. But, performance for 3 days in either Chicago in the Big Ten or in New York in the Big East, probably not going to make or break your season. Whereas in the Big Sky, you could go undefeated in conference play, but you catch a fat L in a semifinal there and everything's lost. It is just completely flipped on its head on both different polar opposites of the college spectrum that you watch in this NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Montana lost last night. They're out.
Big upset. They're out. They had a great season, but the Grizzlies are out. They had to roll up on Montana State, who had that great second half, and that's
an awesome rivalry too. By the way,
huge. And that's the thing, right? I think Montana State was 7-9 during the regular season. They had no more basketball to play if they didn't win this championship. Their only way to get in was with this championship and extend their season one more game, and they did. And the rest of the conferences, the big conferences, the Power 5 conferences, like you said, Billy, it only matters for like 3 teams.
Yeah. That's all it really ends up becoming. And the ones that, for the Jerry McNamara stories that go from a team that was out of the tournament to a team that makes it and wins it. We're still talking about that. And that was almost 20 years ago now. Like it's so far and away the outliers in those big tournaments that we're going to pay more attention to. However, and I love the NCAA tournament. I do. I love being able to soak in all that coverage. If you want to be in a sports book and you want to just sit there, maybe get the cold bag of peas on the lap for a week, this is the week that you get just information and game overload because everybody's playing and you can just invest and play around on every single one of them.
All of them, all those conferences, all those games.
And you also get the matchups that you love, right? You get Duke, North Carolina.
That you know a little more of.
You get UConn, Marquette. Like you get well, hopefully those are the matchups that you end up getting throughout these tournaments, and that's a lot of fun because you don't necessarily get them in the tournament. So it's a lot of fun. But what does it really matter? What does it really mean going into what is the long regular season that people love, and then the tournament, which I still think the tournament is the most special part of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's why I like it. And it's always like a running joke, but why are we getting so jacked up about the Southland and the America East and, the Sun Belt and the SoCon? Because these are the Super Bowls, the Big Sky for all these conferences. So that is where it's more fun for me to watch those games because I know it's win or go home. I know these guys' jobs are on the line. I know dreams are coming true for these small fan bases and these schools and these administrations and these teams. This is their big dream. This is their Super Bowl, is to try and win their conference to make the NCAA tournament. And the amount of excitement, intensity at some of these games, I'm trying to remember what game it was I watched. It was going down to the wire. It was absolutely a barn burner in this 5,000 seat gym, and it was just shaking. It was going down to the wire, and it was the best of college basketball. You got delirious fans storming the court because this is their moment in the sun. But you don't have that in college football. You absolutely don't. Not across the country. You don't have all these dreams coming true. You know, college football keeps out teams. College basketball keeps everybody in, and that's why I like it.
But it's also different.
It is different. That's
I
fair.
mean, with all due respect, St. Peter's going in, or, you know, Fairleigh Dickinson beating Purdue.
Yes.
They line up for a 60-minute football game.
Done.
And it's Georgia TCU,
But that's
right?
what-
There's no reason for that.
I agree with you. And the nature of the game makes it different. So it's not football's fault.
Right.
Right. I just think that basketball has the ability to be that, you know, moment for those teams because of the way basketball is. And that's what makes it exciting to watch. That's why I love it, you know?
I also just think one of my favorite parts of the NCAA tournament does kind of kick off with these. You get the good fan poses, right? Like Zabe always talks about the surrender cobra, my man with just the hands over the head, like, oh, how the hell did this just happen?
Yeah.
You get a lot of the teary-eyed cheerleaders in this first lead up of the week.
Yeah.
You get all those moments that are why I wait 47 minutes after the final tip to watch the one shining moment to see all those cut ups. You get some of those here. They just don't get glorified as nearly as much. And then they kind of get forgotten about. And instead you just think about the parties that you're enjoying probably throughout these, or like Armin, you know, how he's going to finesse his way into Madison Square Garden this weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think I got a good line on some tickets now. I'm hoping for the best here. I don't want to jinx it, but our man Pete in New Jersey might be coming through. Let's just say it.
Odds, John, for Armin Sarian to actually see Marquette on Friday night in MSG are ballooning up minus 130 at the moment.
They are. I just seen that Marquette.
He's a favorite now.
Now he's a favorite. He was a heavy underdog before.
I just need Marquette to do their part now and win tonight. And that's why I was hoping for DePaul to win last night.
You
He just wanted to buy it.
Yeah.
What's more risky?
Yes.
That you have flight problems and get delayed or possibly don't make it to New York, or that Marquette actually loses tonight?
So I think it's more risky that Marquette loses, because if I get delayed tonight, I still have tomorrow morning, because we're not planning on going till tomorrow night to the game, right? So I just hope Marquette can get it done. No
fly in tomorrow, land, battle that morning traffic that I told you about, trying to get into the city, and then you have to check into a hotel and make sure Laura's feeling good, because you know she is preggers now.
Well,
and you have to take care
that's
of
a good
her,
point.
Make sure you feed her every 2 or 3 hours, and then you're going to the game. Oh, that day would be miserable.
Yeah,
and then at the end of it, she's like, you know what? I'm really not feeling all that. Why don't you just go? And then you got to sit there and think. This is some kind of test.
I'm not thinking. Hey, no thought. There's no thinking going on there. I'm gone. All right. And listen, we're staying at her sister's, so we don't have to worry about the hotel thing. So that helps things too.
Look at you.
So
you already thought about this.
That's extra pizza and bagel money. You know what I'm saying?
Pickle pizza and bagel money in New York City.
You know, I'm going there. I'm going to Tom's Restaurant if we can.
That's living it up in the city.
That's the restaurant in Seinfeld. I don't know if you knew what that was.
Wait until you get one of these. So that's where you're going to eat?
Well, I don't know. That's not the only. I mean, we're going to be there.
That's the only one Armin
cares
about.
I'm going back there every time.
Wait until you get one of these 16-inch floppy triangular slices of pizza.
I can't wait.
Still has a crisp on the bottom, even though it's still floppy. You got to fold it, Armin. Be ready to fold. Do you have your folding technique down yet? Are you going to fold it long ways, or are you going to fold it? How are you going to fold it?
You know, like
is there another way to fold
like
it?
An accordion. You know, I'm not going to fold it like this. You mean like this?
Some people do that.
Well, I have seen people do that. Strange folks.
Yeah,
strange folks.
Sounds like a fail.
There's nothing better than that big old floppy style pizza.
No, I'm excited for it. I'm excited.
Attaboy. We're proud of you. We're excited for you. We're excited for all of you to stay with us here on 9 to noon. 414-799-1973. Hanging out with you on YouTube, X, and the Game Radio Network. The wish list for the Green Bay Packers maybe just took a little hit with one man signing yesterday, and then, first agreeing and then recanting, agreeing somewhere else. We'll discuss. Plus, it's Pie Day. Pie or cake? We had one man weigh in his take. We want yours as well. It's 9 to noon on the Game.
John Kuhn here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And sometimes you need to look around and check out your windows and see if they need to be replaced. Maybe they're broken. Maybe your doors need fixing. Or maybe you just want to revitalize the look of your home and make it look new. Well, now is the time to get that done, because from now until March 31st, you can get 0% interest for up to 3 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. That's right. I said it. Pella now, but pay later. That's the slogan. 3 years later, in fact. And Pella has a free in-home consultation that makes replacing or redesigning your windows and doors very easy. They go beyond just measuring and handing you a quote. They take the time to actually listen to you and then educate you on all the product options. And with DesignWorks, you can actually see what your home is going to look like before you buy anything. Pella can also customize, providing nearly endless possibilities for design flexibility. Dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more. That's what you get to choose with Pella Windows and Doors. Their installation is easy and it's completed with little to no mess or hassle. They leave nothing behind but perfect results. So order by March 31st. Take advantage of this deal. 0% interest for up to 3 years. But you have to set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details and tell Gina Della that John Kuhn sent you.
Now tuned into the greatest. Turn the music up in the headphones. Tim, you can go and brush your shoulders off. I got you. Yeah. If you feeling like a picnic,
9 to noon on the game. John Kuhn, Armin Sari, and Billy Schmidt hanging out with you across our game network of stations. Also on X and YouTube. Yesterday on Instagram, it was Aaron Jones arriving to Minnesota, showing on his story, him and Junior getting off the airplane, rolling on over to a car. He just looks down at Junior. Hey, where are we going? Vikings. Dang, right in front. Teams are starting to announce it. Packers have not announced publicly yet the signings of Xavier McKinney or Josh Jacobs. I would assume those would come up pretty quickly here and within the next day or so. I would assume that they'll introduce them, and I imagine there will be maybe some intel tomorrow when Match Diamond sits in, John, because listen, and he starts breaking some news, breaking the stick Friday edition right here on 9 to noon. There's no way you're not grabbing 3 or 4 news nuggets from him coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, his favorite thing to do is stop you mid-sentence and say, oh. Okay, so this just happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, he did it on McAfee. There was a time we were in the podcast breaking down in the midst of Packers not winning a game in 42 straight days and trying to say how this season's going to be revived. And he stops me and he goes, oh, what? The Milwaukee Bucks just traded for Damian Lillard. Like, wait, what?
What?
That
happened?
What are we doing here? So all of a sudden, in the middle of the break of the stick, we start breaking down.
Pivot.
We start breaking down Bucks and Dame Lillard. Yeah. Hey. And I said, oh, just please tell me. Just not Drew Holiday.
Not true.
Yeah, Drew's going to be a part of it. Son of a gun.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's kind of what happened. And that's kind of what happened here with the Packers, Aaron Jones, and Josh Jacobs. That's kind of the reason why they're down that road. Now, some people say, Billy, just pump the brakes. They didn't announce it yet, but they had to come in yesterday. They had to fly in, and like Simone Biles told us, it's not a direct flight.
That's true.
You got to take a connector.
Yeah.
You got to take a connector and get here. So it took some time to get here. Then they have physicals, and then they actually physically sign the contract. And Packers don't announce anything as official until it's officially official.
Which is good.
Can I? Billy and I were debating this a bit, and I've been going back and forth in my head. We were debating it off air. Aaron Jones being a Viking now. Obviously, we love Aaron Jones, but I said I can't cheer for him now. And that's what stinks about it. I could cheer for him if he was on the Titans or something like that. And Billy goes, why not? It's like, I can't cheer for a Viking because that means if he does well, the Vikings do well, and I can't have that. And so I don't know what you think about this, John, but I've been going back and forth. Like, can you cheer for him to do good well? Obviously, stay healthy, all these things. Or am I cheering for the Vikings?
I'll root for Aaron Jones in Minnesota. I'll cheer for David Bakhtiari in Chicago. Not when they play us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not when they play the Packers, but I'll do that. And I was just joking. I don't know if David's going to Chicago or not.
I was going to say, you just dropped a hell of a news nugget right there out of the interview yesterday. I love that.
You almost had Matt Schneidman jumping into this saying, what? Whoa.
Hey.
I was just throwing that out there as a hypothetical, but no, I have no problem doing that because I love those guys as Packers and I root for them to have success after. And here comes 75 people in the talking text line to let me know right now, John, I rooted for you to fumble every time down in New Orleans, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. Everybody does things different ways, but Billy, we mentioned
you can't do that.
But
you got to get through your physicals and you got to do everything to make it officially official. How many days go by before you start saying, what's going on here?
That's what I'm asking. Because
could there be a failed physical?
Right.
Could a guy change his mind? Like this tampering period, so weird. We talked about the flip-floppers, and we've had a flip-flopper in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Eric Kendricks and goes from the Niners where he agrees to terms and then quickly pivots within an hour and is the first Dallas Cowboy signing of the 2024 offseason. He goes and teams up with Mike Zimmer. Eric Kendricks, longtime Vikings linebacker on the inside. He was with the Chargers last year. John had a pretty good year. I mean, like every time I see Eric Kendricks, he's still playing well. He's still balling out. And I mean, I messaged you guys yesterday before Bobby Wagner went off the market to Washington. Hey, we're looking at linebackers. Those are names of guys that you think you could get a little bit cheaper, and they're going to bring in a bunch of value. But once you get the flip-floppers, to your question, it's about now. It's about 3 days. If it's now gets to 3:00 here today and we still don't have anything official, I'm going to start wondering what the holdup is. Similar to Gary Sanchez situation with the Brewers,
Just
where
gonna say Gary Sanchez.
it leaks out. It's like 3 days, 4 days. Oh, it's now past the weekend. Hey, anyone hear about Gary Sanchez? We got a failed physical situation going on. People start talking about it. Boom, 7:30 news drop that he signs.
Yeah.
Like, I do wonder, because we've got the flip-floppers, and while we all know the terms and we all know, the agreed upon numbers too, John, would it really be that bad if one of those agents then was able to go to a team that was negotiating and say, hey, now you know the information. You sure you can't beat that?
And I think that happens sometimes. I do. Or I think there's a call from a head coach. Hey, man, you're going to want to come out here. We're going to put you in a different system than what they have, and you're going to be able to thrive and, maybe play at a Pro Bowl level if you come here. This is where you want to be, this type of team you want to be on. And we got all this revolving around you. You're the last piece of the puzzle. You can get wooed in different ways, but yeah, probably the contract, they're going to give you $14 million over 2. And your second year is going to, have a lot there. They could potentially cut you. We'll make sure that you get all your money in this form or fashion. And it could be the exact same amount of money, but just the contract's written up differently.
Yeah.
As you look at it, because as you check out contracts, like there's a stark difference between Josh Jacobs' contract and Xavier McKinney's contract. And that doesn't have anything to do with the money. That has everything to do with how the damn thing's structured, right? Because the way Josh Jacobs is structured is, it looks like, it looks like it's a 2-year contract, but it could be a 1-year contract. And, it could potentially be reworked after 2 years to go into a 3rd year. Xavier McKinney's looks like it's a solid 3-year contract.
Yep.
And then a 4th year that could be restructured or extended. The Packers have gone back to their old school way of creating contracts where it's very team favorable. And that's the good news about what's going on right now with not just the cap situation, because we know that they're getting out of that, but how they are restructuring contracts to ensure that the cap situation stays clean as we go forward and this team grows with Jordan Love. He's going to be one of the higher paid quarterbacks in the league here coming up shortly. I'll bet you tips in probably right around 5, 6, 7.
That's what I'm thinking.
For quarterback pay. And once that happens, then you're going to have to be really good at working that cap, which the Packers have been doing so far.
Yeah, and Russ Ball and Goody did a good job of both of these deals. They're probably, 3rd or 4th? I don't think either of them became the highest paid guy at either spot. I think McKinney came in at 3rd in safeties, and Jacobs similarly, where they load up the guaranteed money right away, right? Hammer you with a signing bonus, which has got to be a great selling point. Hey,
you get it up front.
Right here, you sign your name next to that X, and there will be, in Xavier McKinney's, $23 million direct deposited on Wednesday.
It's like tell someone
Can I have a pen?
They got the lump sum on the lotto, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a huge benefit. I've heard different reasons and rationales to it, but to the salary cap now, where all teams are moving around void years and being able to restructure, most of those restructures, like Josh Allen's restructure this week, it's restructured $21 million, and now they have all this money to spend, and people are like, hey, Josh Allen, great teammate. What a great teammate. All that means is Josh Allen gets a direct deposit of the $21 million, right? Like, it just changes up the numbers of it. And for the Packers, they have the money, John, to give out those big salary bonus monies, give that in a reserve, and then they'll figure it out on the back end because the guaranteed money's out of the way early. I know they love doing it, but it does seem like a little bit copycat league of teams are saying, oh, that's one of the ways that you can maneuver this cap around a little bit more.
Yeah, and like I said, the Packers are in a better situation than that because they are younger already. They haven't signed their quarterback yet, and they're going to get younger again. I find it fascinating that this team now, from the 2020 NFC Championship game, 2021, whatever year you want to say it is, but the 2020 NFC Championship game, there's only about 5 players left on that team. That's how young they've got.
It's crazy when you think about it.
It's Elton Jenkins, it's Preston Smith, it's Rashawn Gary,
Kenny.
It's Jair Alexander, it's Kenny Clark, and then it's Jordan Love, who didn't play in that game.
Mm-hmm.
6 guys from a roster of 6 guys from a game that was played in January of 21. That's unbelievable. 3 years later, there's only 6 guys left from that game.
And that just continues to give more and more credit to Brian Gutekunst for what they've been able to do, flipping over this roster. And I still think they got more room to go. You've talked about it. They got more to spend.
And think about it. That team we thought was going to the Super Bowl. We thought that team had a great chance to compete. We kind of feel that way about this team.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, I don't know if they're as high as that team, but I expect this team to be right in the play for an NFC Championship game.
I
do.
Yeah, because there's no bad vibes right now around this Packers team. That one did. You had some questions. You already knew that there was a light at the end of the tunnel and that there might have been a cliff at the end of that tunnel. John, it seems like there's more highway at the end of this tunnel. And if the Packers get to the end, you're going to be driving off into that sunset down in New Orleans celebrating Mardi Gras.
It might not be as high an expectation. Like that team we really thought was winning the Super Bowl. Where they got that home playoff game, we thought they were winning the Super Bowl. This team might not be quite that high, but you talked about it. This team, we're not saying last dance. We're saying first dance on this team.
Yeah, you're asking, can we dance with your dates? 49ers, come on over here and let us see what's going on. Let us see what we can steal away. Stole that one from the Cowboys last year, took their dancing shoes. Dak Prescott. Stories about Dak Prescott. It's a dicey situation down in Dallas. You thought the wild card round was going to be the worst thing that they dealt with this year. No, it's going to be what's going on potentially outside the Cabernet. 414-799-1973. John Coons right there. He's going to make a Coons can't miss in about a half hour from right now. Thanks to Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Armin Sarian's right there. I'm Billy Schmid. Nice to meet you. Thanks for hanging out. It's 9 to noon on the game.
Yeah.
shining bright. Edge of the water, we were feeling all right. Back down a country road, the girls are always hot and the beer is ice cold. Cadillac, horns on the hood.
It's 9 to noon. Thanks for hanging out with us. John Kuhn, Billy Schmidt, Armin Sarian with you at 414-799-1973 Hoops on the TV. It's International Pie Day, which is always a good one.
Yes, pie over cake, I would say, guys.
Tiffany in German Sound said cake always, but never chocolate. Not a big chocolate fan at all. Well, Tiffany,
what's up with that?
I believe you would be in the minority.
What's up
Yeah.
with that?
Well, so this is where I stand.
What do you eat? Carrot cake?
Carrot cake's good.
Oh,
you get a good
yeah.
cream on top of that thing.
No,
Listen,
it's not.
Come
I can-
on. I mean, it's low. I'll eat it, but it's lower on the cakes, right?
It is lower on the cakes, but you're comparing a great carrot cake to a great chocolate cake, right?
Sure.
Well, that's
Yeah.
exactly what
I-
I'm doing.
But you can't knock carrot cake for being a good solid starter in the cake rotation. Like a good carrot cake is, I mean, it gets the job done.
Oh, so you're saying it's like a
serviceable.
Colin Ray fifth starter in your
It's not
rotation. It's going to
it's
play.
not replacement
Sure, okay.
level. Its war is definitely in the positive.
Yeah, slightly. It's like saying, hey, well, DePaul's still a D1 team, a high major.
Would you go carrot cake or banana walnut muffin, Armin?
You know
A
what's
little lesser
funny?
of two evils,
I'm,
probably.
I'm not huge on walnuts. Now, that's a me problem. I'm not a big walnut person, but I'd probably go with the banana bread more. Or banana walnut, whatever it is.
Mm.
Banana.
You know,
John?
the I can't do chocolate. This is where I stand. Ice cream, vanilla, cake, chocolate.
Okay.
And that's just where I start, right?
Okay.
That's just the starting point. It doesn't mean that vanilla ice cream is bad. I had a lot of macadamia nut ice cream out there in Hawaii. Good God,
Those are
is
good.
that just I
Okay.
mean, you put macadamia nut ice cream with just about anything, and it is a killer.
It adds a
is-
taste. You know, it adds
It
like
is
a flavor.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well,
I
out there
love
they
that.
do. Well, Hawaiians do Hawaiian shaved ice, but they don't call it Hawaiian. They just call it shaved,
Shave
Shave
ice.
ice,
Shave
yeah.
ice. Yeah.
And they put and
Like,
they
why
would
you
put
guys
ice-
calling us?
Yeah, exactly. Well, of course it's Hawaiian. It's in Hawaii.
It's
so
in
we
Hawaii.
just call
We
it
don't need to say
shaved
it.
ice.
Yeah, I don't go to Paris and
That's
go
why
for
it's
French
that's why
toast.
they're wings in Buffalo because
Yeah, exactly.
identify
That's right.
ourselves here.
Yeah, you
But
do.
it's great because they know how to do it there because it's actually shaved and it's soft.
Sure.
You don't have the ice pellets in it.
Yeah.
But they put ice cream on the bottom of it, and it's spectacular.
That does sound
Shut the front
good. That
door.
does sound good.
No,
That does sound
absolutely.
good.
You said they put ice cream at the bottom of the shave ice?
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Think about
holy
it.
And when you
cow.
get to the bottom and you start mixing that
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
up,
yeah.
oh
Oh, yeah.
gosh, you have
Sounds
yourself a delightful treat.
Damn, I thought they had it figured out over at Summerfest at the Hawaiian
At
Shave
the Hawaiian
Ice.
Shave Ice, when your buddy would be there with his booze and he'd pour it in there. Is that what you're talking about?
No, because
Oh.
I know the owner of that one. He used to be a high school football coach. Mine. They
No,
were
I don't-
not doing that at the Hawaiian Shave Ice.
I don't
stand.
mean the kids working there. I mean, I had a buddy that would always add it himself
Oh,
afterwards.
got it. Okay. No, we did that to the Catalano's lemonade.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, because
that's
that stuff
pretty
was
good.
already too sweet. You
Yeah.
needed a little Tito's in there
You
just
need
to kill a little bit of
Oh,
the
yeah,
sharpness to it.
Absolutely, why not? But that, and I always thought, the Hawaiian Shave Ice. You know, at the they would come up with their own flavors. You know, at Summerfest.
Oh yeah.
But
a
I
lot
got-
of Whitnell kids were working at those, so we had
Oh,
there was
nice.
always a good hookup back in the day for that.
But you know, I got to say, I'm
my
Pie
mind
Day.
is just blown with the ice cream at the bottom.
That
of the
does
shaved
sound
ice.
good when you have the creamy.
That
and
sounds like
ice.
the most stone decision of all time. What we have a beautiful dessert that's fruit flavored. You know what would make this even better? More dessert.
Exactly.
Yeah, and,
Sweet,
and
let's do
well, the
it.
funny thing is, like Hawaiian ice is just shaved ice is just one of those things. When you have just shaved ice, you're like, I didn't even need a dessert. Like this, 90% of what I just consumed
is
was a block of ice.
Mhm.
And that did nothing to me.
Yeah.
You throw some ice cream in there. Okay, now I'm having.
Now
a
we're
dessert.
talking.
Now it's an actual
That's
dessert.
awesome.
Yeah.
Pie Day always gets me a little sad though, because I don't think there are any like these days. It's a sad thing because there's no Baker Squares left around. And on Pie Day, it used to be boom, Baker Square.
You
pie.
knew you were going in
You're
there.
going to Baker Square. I don't. The one, Billy, you grew up in the same area I did, and I grew up in Greenfield, right there on 76. That Baker
Over
Square,
by Southridge, no doubt.
That was a staple. That was a staple. You
And
know,
were they doing cream pies? Because cream pies are for the cream pies or peanut
Pause.
butter pies. Those are the two best.
I'm with cream pies. I love cream
They always,
pie.
they always,
I love
they
cream.
always had some kind of
Banana
Reese's
cream,
time.
coconut cream, strawberry cream, doesn't matter.
No, it all works. And the best part about Baker Square when you walk on in and just see all the pies in the shelf,
Oh, it's
right
so
in
good.
the case.
You could see them all, right?
And I'd start politicking my parents when we walk on in to the restaurant. once we get to the table. Can I get some pie after? They're like, Billy, we haven't even gotten water yet.
We haven't eaten our dinner
Maybe let's
yet.
chill out. Let's have breakfast. Then see if you're still hungry. No, listen. No, I'm gonna be all right. I just walked by that French silk pie, and I'm gonna try a taste of that if you guys allow here at the end of the day.
Yeah.
See, I think generally people would go cake over pie if they were going to choose it.
Really?
Yeah, because I think cake overall has a bigger umbrella. You have a bigger umbrella with cake than you do with pie.
That's true. You probably do. There's more cakes. There's more like a variety of cakes.
But I dare you. I challenge you. Strawberry cheesecake or strawberry cream pie. Which one do you want to go with?
Yeah, I'm going pie every time.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think so. Now,
when you
start
when you start comparing these things that are playing the same positions, that's when you start getting mixed up. That's when pie starts taking over, and you're like, well, he's got a little bit more reach. He's got a better first step. He keeps his pad levels down. Pie is just slightly more technically sound than it is cake.
It's a better prospect, right? Because you think that you can find a lot of replacement cakes, but you don't necessarily know if you're going to get that game-changing franchise like pie. How about Turd Ferguson pie versus cake? Just not a simple call, guys. Which pie? Which cake? If it's a Hostess cherry pie, then easily outranks over fruit cake, for example. But double chocolate lava cake beats Hostess cream pies. Okay, well,
you can't get Hostess. You can't compare.
We're not.
And that's my point.
First string and fourth string, guys.
And you got to compare, quarterbacks to quarterbacks. You can't compare a quarterback to a long snapper.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
That's not working.
I agree. Now, that is sad. Like I said, Baker Square only 9 locations left, and none in Wisconsin. So it's just those days I feel like are gone. Like,
where do I got to go to get to a Baker Square today?
You have to go to Illinois.
I'm not doing that.
I know. I just don't know what to tell you. I mean, the last Wisconsin location was in Elm Grove, and it closed in 2020.
You could be like Armin and make your own cream pie.
I like French silk pie as well, and
I made a French silk pie one time for Thanksgiving. That's just fantastic.
You made it?
Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty good work.
It was a pretty intense job. And everybody tried the piece, right? Throughout the Thanksgiving celebration. Looks on over. Billy, you did good. Oh, thanks, guys.
That's a good feeling.
Maybe I could have gotten a freaking slice. Whole thing gone by the time your boy ended up eating.
That's bad. That's brutal. That's brutal.
Walking around the minefields here.
Yeah, and like you said, Billy, can I get some pie? When you walk into the restaurant and they have that cream pie, the last thing you can do is sit there, wait until you got to order that thing when you first walk in, because you cannot sit there and eat your entire dinner, and then by the time there's no more cream pie left.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cream pie. You got to have your cream pie. You got to make sure you get your cream pie.
Yeah.
To be able to get the cream pie, you got to be first, right? You don't want to be last to being able to go and grab that thing off the shelf, because you want to be able to pick your piece. You want the first dibs on that.
Yeah. And the first cream pie is always cleaner than the last one.
Always.
Because when the last one comes around, it's always got marks out of it, and it's always destroyed by the time.
And it's sloppy. There's cream all over the place.
Sloppy.
There's different whipped cream
Messy.
all over the place. You don't want anybody else's slice on there. You want your individual one.
Happy Pie Day.
Slice of cream pie.
Happy Pie Day, everybody.
414-799-1973. Our investing hour is next. Coon, Billy, and Armin hanging out with all of you statewide. You got the game.
Swinging where we want, 'cause there ain't nobody home. Swinging to the left and swinging to the right. Think about baseball, swing all night, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Swinging in the living room.
Thanks to all that weighed on in, like Barb from Brookfield. Newski's has great pies.
How about that?
Love that.
You know, I
love that.
We only think about bacon when it comes to Newski's, right?
Yeah.
Didn't know
I
you
would
were
have
getting
never
cream
thought
pies
to
over
drive out there to Walsall to get myself some pie.
And speaking of something else, you would have thought of something else of. I didn't really say that well, but
What?
apparently,
Can you try that again?
speaking of a different restaurant,
There's
that
no
you
way
can
he
get
hits
pies
it out
at.
of the park on the
Okay,
next
there
try.
you go. He at least got a foul tick on that one.
Anyway, my point was I had a couple good tips during the break. One of which, Famous Dave's, the barbecue place on 27th and Edgerton, I want to say.
Okay.
My parents right around there. You can get Baker Square pies there, apparently. So somehow they sell Baker Square pies. at
So you're
Famous
saying I
Dave's.
can get ribs and a Baker Square pie?
Right, with the corn on the
They're
cob.
keeping Baker Square alive.
Absolutely.
Famous Dave's chain.
Nikes.
We also had a good tip. I didn't get his name. I'm sorry. I know you called. Love the show. Thanks for listening. He said there's a place called the Cheesecake Factory that has good pie.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for the
They
tip.
have pies?
I never heard
Get
of
out of town.
Never heard of the Cheesecake. Cheesecake Factory has every item known to man. You ever look at that?
Every
menu?
food item known to man is in there.
It's
Yeah.
an encyclopedia.
That's a textbook that they give you when you sit down.
Did you, and if you go there with people that are unsure, people that take time, people that
Oh, no.
maybe change their, it's the worst. Can
Worst.
you just pick a damn, but they have so many. Yeah, I know they
Get
have
the-
so many things.
get the burger.
You haven't had a favorite yet. You haven't picked one out. Just get anything.
See, and I will be that guy of where if I go to a restaurant and I have something one time and like it, you know what? I'm probably not going to mess around. I'll go and grab that same old thing so I keep the indecisiveness out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to subject everybody on there. You know, also, we had Jake in the 414. Stop talking about food and do your job. Well, thanks for Jake in the 414. Here is an Armin Sarian Just One Thing, justonething.org award-winning basketball update.
Sorry, Jake. Cincinnati 72, Kansas 52, UCF 73, BYU 87. That was in the Big 12 second round yesterday.
Hold on, I got to cut you off.
Yeah.
I read it wrong. I know. Okay.
Never
I know,
you say
I know.
the losing team
I
first.
read it wrong. I didn't. I know. I realized. I realized as I was
Armin,
midway.
We're
Okay.
giving you one shot at a
just-
sports update.
one
and you
shining
botched
moment.
it right away.
I know I did it wrong. I know what I'm supposed to. I
Okay,
know
let's
you're not
start this.
supposed to.
Let's start this thing over.
Yesterday in the Atlantic 10 second round at St. Joe's 64, George Mason 57, Florida State 86, Virginia Tech 76.
Doesn't
in
it
the
just sound like
ACC.
somebody is pulling his toenails out right now? as he's
Wichita
trying to
Yeah,
State.
he's
speak?
not enjoying
It sounds like
All
it's
right, you
painful.
want to bet? You want
Is
to
that
bet?
painful
No,
for
it's
you?
You're
not
supposed to
pain-
enjoy
I
this.
Does
like-
it hurt
No.
you to call every time you read one? It sounds like you're stepping on a tack.
I'm
You
trying
said
to
this
do
is
my
your favorite
job.
time of the year.
I'm trying to do my job professionally. All right, fine. And the American yesterday was Wichita
Now we're
State
talking.
over Rice, 88-81 in a barn
better.
burner.
I like
and
this
they're
better.
moving on to the second round. It's VCU over Fordham. They're dancing in Virginia as the Commonwealth moves on to the Atlantic 10 semifinal. And in the Mountain West, it's Fresno State, the Fighting Bulldogs, eking one out over the Wyoming Cowboys, 77-73. We've got more games and more available coming up as Richmond and St. Joe's underway here on the USA Network. And if you had the over-under, you want the under. It's 17-11 with 4 minutes to go until halftime.
All right, there we go.
All right, there's your
See, that energy in
Sports.
the second one was just so much better.
He went from sounding constipated to sounding like he may have just relieved himself. So there
Yeah.
you go, Armin.
Yeah.
Have we talked?
Very proud of him.
Have we talked enough though? Seriously, about how DePaul almost won a game last night? We already mentioned it before. I'm
Yeah,
going to
we
bring it
did.
up again. We're talking about
We
a
almost
3-28 team that almost knocked off Nova. That would have been crazy. I was waiting for that to happen. Think about those guys on DePaul's bench. One game they would have won. One conference game they would have loved to win, and they didn't get it. Oh man, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, I think they would have loved to win any of the
Yeah.
Big East games.
Any of them, they haven't gotten one, and that was the end of the line for my guy who had the DePaul system, which was keep betting the money line until they win.
It also was on the same day that DePaul all of a sudden flared up in the news because it sounded like Porter Moser was going to be leaving
That didn't
Oklahoma
happen.
to go to DePaul.
Yeah, that was a rumor for a while. If you're following the coaching carousel, which apparently almost already started, that was a rumor, but it did not happen. Porter Moser shut that down. And he rebuked it strongly.
Yeah,
on
said
Twitter.
no. I'm staying with I'm staying in Norman. How about this one from the 414? Thought this was 9 to Spoon with Hungry Coon. Screw you, Jake. I like that.
All
no,
right.
listen, we're having some fun here
9
on
to
Friday
Spoon.
Junior.
9 to Spoon.
Hey, that had a good ring to it.
Hey, that's
Right?
pretty good.
I like that.
9 to Spoon.
If
That's
we ever get Tom Silverstein on the program, that's what I have to come back with. It's 9. Tom Silverstein joins us.
It's amazing. We gotta get him on just for that. That's as good as a play on words as they had for the Big Sky Finals in Boise. Starch Madness.
We're going to get copy here, or your Packers insider going forward is no longer Matt Schneidman. It is now 9 to spoon.
We like you, Matt, but you didn't have a good play on words, and that wasn't going to be.
Yeah, sorry, Schneidman. Couldn't slide in anything, any good innuendos with that name. But Matt Schneidman will slide on into this chair and co-host 9 to noon coming up tomorrow. I assume you guys are going to have a bunch of breaking news to be able to run on through. Thanks to that. However, it has been a little quiet on the Packers front over the last couple of days. We'll see if that changes on up coming soon. However, it appears that right now they're going to wait, let the prices come down. With Jordan Fuller making some rounds. That was a name that many people were thinking at the safety position could be appetizing for the Green Bay Packers. Before we get to a Coons can't miss, one thing that was can't miss yesterday. So Kirk Cousins gets introduced to the Atlanta Falcons as the new quarterback of the Dirty Birds. Kirk Cousins, guys, is buying so into the dad quarterback of the NFL that I just cannot not root for him being as authentic as possible. He is as corny as you could come when him and his 2 sons are holding up Dirty Bird chains in a picture posing at the Atlanta Falcons facility yesterday, celebrating and honoring himself, getting himself another $100 million contract. Fat deal for Kirko Chains. But, John, they said, hey, Kirk, here's a role in a lane that no other quarterback in the NFL is playing. He said, sweet. Give me a car, and I'm running right on down this lane, and I'm going to own it for the rest of my career. Good for him making it.
Yeah, and, hey, all pro at doing business.
Well, that's for sure, yes.
We know that. And now he's looking on the there's got to be right? There's got to be something for him to start sponsoring down there.
Well, and Coles is giving him those quarter zips because he's shouting out Coles cash as many times as possible. I mean, like, he is just leaning fully into the suburban dad of the NFL.
And I love that he does that. I love that he leans into it. He's not too worried about his image or worried about what people are making a joke of him. He's just having fun with it. He's going to be himself. You guys want to joke about how I'm such a regular dad and it's ironic for me to try and act hip hop, then I'm going to do it. Like, it's fun. If it's fun for you, it's fun for me, and let's have fun together, right?
But will it be fun in Atlanta? It is. Yeah, it's definitely fun in Minnesota, right? Suburban dad spot of the NFL.
Okay.
Then you go to Atlanta. I don't know that it's going to play the same as it did when he was with Minnesota.
All that matters is how he plays, right? That's all that really matters. They're not going to care what he does as long as he plays well and wins games, right? I think that's what it's about. It's still performance-based, still sports. So that's my theory behind it.
It always comes down to how you play and how you perform and how you win. More importantly, winning cash is what we like to do here in the 11 o'clock hour.
The man can't miss. Time now for Coons Can't Miss, presented by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big, bet bold.
I got to say, I'm really glad you guys long-winded there because I was looking at UConn minus 16.
Eyeing it up.
It's 10-0 right now, Xavier. The line is already down to
what the hell?
Minus 9.5. Look at what's going on in the Big East. A bunch of crazy potential upsets here. Xavier now 10-2 over UConn early in that one. So I'm not going to pick the game. We'll get to my pick in a second. But first, let me remind you about Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook and this sportsbook. It's coming 2,000 square foot video screen with 200 seats for you and all of your friends to enjoy. Not just any seat. Not just a bar stool, cushy leather couches and leather recliners, along with some high top chairs if you like to, sit there and then stumble around a little bit, mosey around.
That's my favorite.
Maybe you're a pacer. Maybe you're a nervous watcher like Armin. Yep. A lot of nervous watching going to go down next Friday, March 22nd, down there at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook. Rockin' Brews, that's where we're doing our show. Come out, see us, enjoy the show. Who are we going to have there? Who are our special guests, Armin, that you're so excited about?
So apparently you guys told me Diener and Novak are going to come.
Diener and Novak will be there.
How about that?
Hopefully Marquette's first round game's Friday. Maybe they win on Thursday. Maybe it's just a big celebration.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Maybe we get Marquette and Wisconsin both playing. That would be.
I just
playing not in the same time slot, playing back-to-back time slots. right?
Stagger it up. Yep.
Marquette tips off at 12, and in Wisconsin tips off at 3:15. That would be perfect. That'd be perfect. Just enough time in between games for us to grab a coon dog,
right?
That foot-long hot dog that's down there with some elk chili, kimchi, some fried onions, and some jalapenos.
Or a hand pay at the Dragon Link machine, but I like the coon dog one.
That all works.
You got to nourish yourself because we're going to be having a damn good time. Nooners, come down and see us next Friday down there. We're doing our show down there from Rock and Brews at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook. And then we're hanging out all damn day, having ourselves a Nooner Day 4.5. It's a pop-up Nooner. All right. I'm not going to pick that game. And it's a good thing because I'm on a little bit of a bad beat. I had a push to start the week, and that was a bad beat push. And you always get nervous when you have a bad beat push because you're nervous about is this. It turns out the waves going in the opposite direction. Montana -6 last night. Montana State beat them by 15.
Whoa.
They were up by 6 at halftime. And their well went dry, and Montana State went absolutely ape in the second half.
They had the
Couldn't miss.
They had the second half of their lives, of their season. Montana State, when it mattered the most. Let's hear from Montana State coming out of the mud to win this tournament, man. I mean, wow.
The brawl in the wild between
Let's go.
Montana and Montana State.
It was starch madness in Boise.
Montana State couldn't miss, and Montana couldn't get the ball down the court without turning it over.
It was crazy.
15 turnovers in that ball game.
And they were doing pretty good in the first half too. I mean, Montana was on their pace, doing their thing, and you just never know what's going to happen when the Big Sky final gets rolling. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I'm going to go to the Big Ten. Penn State big off a victory. Actually giving points to Indiana tonight. Indiana +1.5. They rested. So Indiana's going to be fresh. Penn State's going to be a little worn out. I'm taking Indiana tonight in the Big Ten tournament to get themselves a victory and to get me a victory because I need it.
You do need one.
I'm 0-2-1 on the week. I need to push this thing back to 500. I'm going to take 1.5 with Indiana right now.
All right, Indiana +1.5 locked in, John, and Coons can't miss. You need a win. We tried to help you last week. We brought the baby back to you 3-2, but listen, sometimes that's what happens.
We kept it afloat, but we didn't dominate like we could have.
Yeah, you're right. We didn't go.
We expected greatness. We got a little more than competence.
This is a crazy time of year, though, because
I thought we were going to make a push to 40 games over 500, and now we're back down to 30 over 500.
Well, remember,
not good.
Winning is a process. It's not a moment. It's a process, right? It's a time process.
Well, and it's about the process, right? It's about the road to get there that makes it even sweeter when you go and get that big
W. Right. And when you have the L's, you just tell yourself you're in the process. It's a system play, and so that's what you try and tell yourself.
There is no shortage of bad beats or thrilling victories here for this week. You can talk to, I imagine, at Potawatomi Sportsbook, throughout the day here today. You can talk to 15 different guys.
Oh, they'll all tell you their bad beats.
And they'll all tell you the bad beats. And you say, wow, so you're down? Well, no, I'm about even. Okay, well, then let's celebrate some of the wins a little bit more, right? Let's be a little bit happier when you go over there and cash that ticket.
Yeah.
But we're competitors. Sports gambling is exactly the same way. You get more and more competitive the more and more you play. And you get more and more upset when they steal one from you, rob you blind of a couple of W's that you should have. If one team, makes a field goal through 5.5 minutes of a game.
You just feel like, there are times when you feel like, I did my job and made the right decision.
It was this time last year.
Your job and make it fulfilling.
Yeah, it was this time last year that the, by the way, congratulations, newly minted Hall of Famer, Matt LePay, Wisconsin Broadcasters Hall of Fame announcement earlier on today, when he had told me last year, Billy, I just really hope one of these days you stop investing your hard-earned money in 19-year-olds. Well, Matt, we all want things.
How'd that
all right?
work?
Yeah, we all want things. It just ain't gonna happen. So quit asking. All right. Like I would appreciate it as well. But that's what we do this for, is to irrationally bet on kids that, have to go and take a science exam in a week and a half. But, we want them to have their best moment, their one shining moment. When we have that $25 parlay ticket, with a little 3-piece combo to try to go and grab 150 from the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That's what you got to try to do at this time of year. Steal some W's, steal some wins.
I'm just excited to head down there for a couple reasons. You and Armin make your way over there quite a bit. Obviously, it's not just on the way home from work. For me,
can't do it. Yeah,
it's a little different there.
It's crazy how I can make it a part of my daily commute home so often.
Yeah, and Armin has somehow figured out a way. I mean, he's got a whole following that is there waiting for him when he shows up.
It's like Tim Scott's Dive Bar Club.
It's like I'm telling you, every time I'm there, people are saying hi. We're Nooners.
So
what's
my
up?
favorite part about going is going to be simply that, Armin. It's going to be me getting to see you in your element, seeing Billy in his element,
Appreciate that.
and the two of you showing me around, showing me the ropes, telling me what to do, telling me what to order. I mean, I'm definitely getting.
I was going to say, I think you know exactly what you're ordering.
Yeah, but I'm going to throw a couple other things in there too. And Armin at the Street Eats, I know you already got your favorite thing there.
I do. I love Street Eats. I love to, the coon dog's pretty good. I have a couple other favorites I like. Once I see the menu in front of me, it's got one of those menu touchscreen orders. I'll be able to tell you. I don't want to say the name of because I know what I like. Once I see it, I don't want to say the name of the hot dogs and the different items they have.
Oh, you don't want to mess it up,
right? But they have.
That's well done.
You
what
can't
a
go
veteran
wrong.
move.
You can't go
well,
wrong
you
with the
don't
coon
say
dog.
another hot dog, but the coon dog. That's the only hot dog down there.
But they have other good things, other sausages.
Are
as
you
well.
not eating the coon dog when you go down there?
The jalapenos. Sometimes I gotta be ready. I do like the coon dog. I would eat it. I have
Pick the
eaten it.
jalapenos off there.
Not
No,
do
no,
it.
no,
Pick
no,
the
no.
jalapeno.
I'll eat
I'll
it.
put extra jalapenos on mine.
Sometimes you're not. You ever see the coon dog? It's got the chili and everything on there.
Of course.
Well, sometimes you're not in the mood for all that. All that.
Well, but you also
No,
said I
that-
would eat it, not that
Cut
I
his
do
mic
eat it.
off. Cut his mic off. What do you
Fine.
mean?
You're always in the
always-
mood for a coon dog. I
If
know.
you don't have chili running down to your elbow,
Yeah, chili.
you're not doing Potawatomi.
You did
You're
a
not
good.
doing it right.
You did a good job.
You need to be swapping chili on those roulette chips when you're stacking it over and playing.
If
levels.
I don't see chili on all the buttons of the Grand Wagoneer,
That's
right?
what I'm
if I
not-
don't see chili from your fingers on those buttons of the Grand Wagoneer, I don't want to.
Well,
I
I'm
didn't do
a
it right.
little. I'm a little nervous. I don't want to eat the coon dog in front of with the unit right there when we're remote. Mess up all of our equipment.
What
I
are you
was
talking
gonna
about?
change.
here?
Our remote
guy's
broadcast.
talking
unit.
cream pies,
we have had
units,
such a
jeez.
clean show here today, and you're talking about your
No,
unit.
no, I'm talking about
What
the broadcast unit.
kind where is your mind at right now? I know you're taking a 3-day vacation,
No,
Laura, but
no.
goodness gracious.
Romantic vacation.
My
it
mind's
sounds
right.
like.
My mind's right here, right now. All right, I'm
'Cause
right.
where else
my-
would you rather be?
Right here, right now. I'm right where my feet are. 11:18. I'm at the broadcast unit. My point is, I don't want to get the equipment messed up. I'm gonna eat it afterwards, after the show, maybe.
Oh, sure,
Definitely.
because you guys weren't eating anything or drinking anything around that unit while you were gallivanting
We
around
did.
Mexico.
We did have some drinks and stuff. We did have some.
So
we
now
did.
we're going to be careful.
Well, you have a good point there, Billy. I'm trying to be
That's
better.
true. It's when you're
We're
with your
trying.
real friends, you go and have those all
Wow.
that
I didn't know we were
big
gonna go
time
there.
fun and break all this news.
Now, can I say
That's fine. That makes
you
sense.
did a great.
Makes sense,
I
John.
did see John in the laboratory in the kitchen with the chefs making the hot dog and stuff. And I love the way you did it, John, with the balancing of the flavors.
It's a good backpedal.
You
here.
know, it's good. Thank you. You did. You balance the flavor with the kimchi. It
You
adds that
thought
kind
you
of
were the only-
vinegary.
You thought you were the only one in the lab, Armin.
John's in here cooking it up in the lab.
No,
Armin, come on. What
I
are you
was
doing?
impressed. I was impressed by that. You had the flavors balanced, the savory with the kind of the sour kimchi vinegary taste.
You need a
involved.
tissue. There's some brown on your nose, and it's not chili.
No, I'm good. It's good. We're good. We're having
There'll
a
be
great
chili
day.
there next Friday.
You better believe
Can't
there'll be
wait.
chili there next Friday.
Can't wait.
Also, there's supposed to be a lot of members of the game staff coming out, hanging out with us, so you do as well at Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. We'll be at Rock and Brews right there on the second floor with all the kiosks right across the way to invest and win at Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. We're back after this. It's 9 to noon on the game. Speaking of gambling, one of the most famous sports gamblers just cashed in on a gamble on himself. Explain that coming on up. It's 9 to noon on the game.
A sock hop beneath my bed. A disco ball is just hanging by a thread. I'd like to make myself believe that planet Earth turns slow.
If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast to all of the queens.
9 to noon. Thanks for hanging out on the game. John Kuhn, Billy Schmidt, Armin Sarian with you. Take you up to the top of the hour. We'll hand it off to Mike Heller out in Arizona. Heller might be a little bit delayed. He's talking to Pat Murphy right now. And listen, Pat Murphy's got a lot of questions to answer. He's got a lot of questions to answer about the Devin Williams news that came out last night thanks to Jeff Passan. So we'll hear from Mike Heller there during the noon to 3. We'll hand it off over there. Also, Badger basketball coming up on the game, 12:30 pregame with Butchie and Hall of Famer Matt LePay coming on up. So that will be a thriller against Maryland coming up in the Pinwheel's back. Big Ten tournament. Big old pinwheel at midcourt.
Yeah, the logo. You're
Stupidest logo I've ever seen.
I mean, it is weird, but I don't think it's terrible. I guess
one of the dumbest things I've ever seen.
But it makes you
Armin,
remember the Big Ten tournament. Like you said,
don't listen. You have to pick a side. It's either terrible or it's awesome. Which one?
Okay, I'm not going to say it's awesome. So if I had to pick one of two boxes, I'll say terrible.
So that means that, yes, it's a yes or no question here. It's terrible.
What is this, an election?
You can't run down the middle and say, it's all right.
Well, they should have the Big Ten logo in the middle, I would say.
I mean, it's 2024. We can't come up with something better than that.
You would think with all the graphic design majors across all these Big Ten schools. Did you not see the court
at the All-Star game?
Thank you.
We don't need that, but maybe better.
You see the Big East tournament logo? The Big East tournament one's badass.
It is. It has the Big East logo right in the middle.
It actually says the name of the conference in the middle of this one's
tournament logo. Yeah.
This one looks like a kaleidoscope. Right there in the middle of the floor. It makes no sense, but listen.
Looks like
which is the dumbest toy parents ever gave kids in their life. Kaleidoscopes. I never quite understood that.
Really?
You just sit there and stare. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but if your kid's into a kaleidoscope,
probably gonna be in
might need to start looking into some things.
Oh boy,
yeah,
start getting interested in here. Hey, you know what? For your birthday, I got you a kaleidoscope. Oh, thank you. This gift is amazing. Look at this. Spin, spin, spin. I mean, you spin it 3 times. It's in the 360.
You've seen everything. Yeah, you've seen it all.
That was my question. Once you spin it a couple times, I can't remember. It would only be like 3 or 4. It wouldn't change every time, right?
It can't. I mean, there's only so many things that they can put inside there.
All right, then I guess you're right.
If you're a parent buying that gift for the kid, instead of you questioning the kid should question you.
That's where that comes back to the parents, right? You're asking your kid to get beat up at that point. Hey, did you guys ever see one of these kaleidoscopes? They're pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's serious.
Yeah, dude, in the dentist office, your parents actually bought you this?
It's usually like a free toy. It's not like the main toy. It's usually like a free toy or something.
They get better ones than the Happy Meal, I would at least hope, than whatever the kaleidoscope rolling through. Somebody's got to explain this to me, okay? So everybody in the NFL is ripping this news off.
Oh, you got that too?
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about this. Go ahead.
Excuse me, but the league will be looking into potential tampering violations, including the Eagles and Saquon Barkley, as well as the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins, per source. Important to note, this is standard for the league to look into such matters. We call it legal tampering. What's the tampering charges here?
That's what I don't get about it. And I told you I didn't get the whole point of why we call it legal tampering in the first place, because it's tampering. It involves nefarious activity by definition, right? So I agree with you. What if it's legal
tampering versus illegal tampering? So this is going to come down to like super minute fine print details here. It's going to be when they were at the combine, and so was Saquon's agent, and so was Kirk Cousins' agent. Did they actually talk numbers, or did they just say they were interested? I believe you can say, hey, we're interested. Let's talk numbers when legal tampering opens up at 3:00 on Monday. Is that what time it was, or was it 11 o'clock on Monday? I can't remember. But when legal tampering actually started on Monday, that's when you can talk numbers. You can't talk actual numbers before. So, but you can flirt all you want.
Sure.
You can talk all you want. This happens. The agents at the combine, that's one of the biggest reasons for the combine, other than the combine's not just for the rookies coming out. The combine is for every player in the NFL to find out where they stand with their team and other teams around the league, because the agents are just flooding around there.
Yeah, the combine, John, is the start of the new league year, right? Like that's when you That's when you start making your decisions as to who you start looking at for the draft. But to your point, what is the idea, right? Where are the parameters of different deals with different guys? I saw Florio poking this around maybe a little bit yesterday, because Cousins mentioned in his press conference that he had communication maybe with like one of the team doctors or something, and immediately that flared up people because you can't talk to anybody else in the staff, or you can't have direct conversation with the player. Like, if we're going to have this go down, and they know they're going to be a free agent, why are we clamoring out of these rules? Is this just Roger Goodell to try to hold on to a little bit more power in this whole thing, or keep himself relevant in story-wise?
Well, I hate to say it like this, but when a guy like Florio starts, throwing smoke signals up in the air from his teepee, this is what happens. This is what ends up happening. And people look into it, and you think the Cowboys are happy that they lost Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott in back-to-back years, and now all of a sudden they got to watch the Eagles get Saquon Barkley. I mean, that offense now with Saquon and Jalen Hurts, it's going to be, how do we stop them from getting 6 yards in the first 2 downs? Because if they get the 3rd and 4, it's just run the ball, tush push. That's what they're going to do. I mean, so teams around the league are pissed off about this if it's true, and it's just the flames are getting fanned right now.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, important. Diana Rossini wrote, everyone else wrote their tweets, about the tampering thing.
Sure.
But Diana wrote at the end, important to note, this is standard for the league to look into such matters.
Sure.
So is this a big deal or not? Is this just supposed to, shake the trees a little bit? I don't know what this is.
Is this the people on Park Ave saying, hey, no one's really talked about us in a day and a half? Somebody put something on out there to say that there's some nefarious situation.
And what's the reality of it? The trade's going to still go through. Or
and what's the punishment of it?
Yeah, the punishment. Like, what's the stake here?
When's the last time we had tampering in the NFL? Does anybody know?
This is not player wise, but the Jonathan Gannon story last year, being hired by the Arizona Cardinals, the Eagles said that he was being tampered with the week of the Super Bowl. There was
see, that's one I kind of understand. That's one I kind of get.
That one I got.
That one makes sense to me.
And that ended up costing them. The Eagles and Cardinals settled tampering investigation in regard to the hiring, swapping 3rd-round picks, and Arizona receiving Philadelphia's 5th-round pick in the 2024 draft. So draft compensation, but does it go directly in between the teams? This one ended up settling, quote unquote, out of court, I guess, right? Like out of the league office, I guess. But loss of draft picks, do you just hand them on over to the team that had the player?
Because it's not
and that's kind of Bush League too.
Totally.
Roger Goodell just sits there and says, all right, you two figure this out. Now you're one of the other 30 teams in the league, and you're like, now they're going to negotiate how to settle this thing? Sure. No, it's wrong. Punish them.
Yeah, and it should be a third party in like the ruling party, right? It should be
why do the Eagles get to win in a situation like that?
Well, now in the NBA, this can prevent the deal from actually, you think about the Chris Paul thing, and obviously Bogdanovich for the Bucks. We've seen this in the NBA. I don't think it's actually going to prevent the deal from happening in the NFL. So,
well, because in the NBA, I think it's much cleaner when you have players talking to other players about going and playing on the team.
Yeah, and the tampering in the NBA is completely player driven.
Like it's a more obvious.
It's 100% player driven.
Yeah, because they all have relationships from either playing when they're younger, meeting each other at the All-Star game, and or
banana boat,
message each other on social media and say, "Hey, man, you should play with us."
Or in Houston with honey buns and dollar bills. Absolutely. Right? There's many ways that these guys commingle and hang out together.
Yeah, so I guess it's not as cut and dry in the NFL as it is in the
Speaking
NBA.
of those adult ballets that became famous in the NBA. You think Kirko Chains is going to be hanging out with Lou Williams over at Magic City, getting some lemon pepper wings now that he's in Atlanta?
Good question.
I think he's leaning into it, but I don't think he'll go that far.
He's not going to go that far with it.
No. Kirk is like one of the guys that you love on the team because he's not necessarily one of the guys, but he will do everything he can to try and fit in with the guys.
Oh, yes.
That's endearing. You got to love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, listen, you're not really a chain wearer, but throw my chain on. This thing weighs 7 pounds and is $700,000. I'm just renting it from Jacob the jeweler, but here, throw this. Yeah, no doubt. I'll throw this thing on without a shirt.
I got you. Yeah.
He's willing to be a go along with it guy.
To me,
or come with guy.
He reminds me of like the older brother's little brother that wants to hang out with all of his older brother's friends, and they get him to do the silly stuff. Just do it. This will be so fun. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll go, spray whipped cream in dad's hat, and he'll laugh at it. It'll be sweet. It'll be awesome. It won't be awesome for you at the end of the day, but it pays on off because at least we're trying. At least I'm trying to get myself in with the crew.
And he knows he's the leader now of that team. He knows the importance of doing that stuff, is being the leader, is the leadership, trying to connect with everybody.
I got the adult ballet name from actually the Pat McAfee show yesterday when AJ Hawk was calling out a certain spot in the Green Bay area on ESPN about adult ballets. So that's, Oval Office was potentially a place that, Aaron was used to. So it would make sense that if he ran for vice president, he'd be able to walk right into the Oval Office and feel comfortable.
Bada bing.
And nobody quite understood it.
Oh, yeah, good one.
I don't quite understood it right until the end. And then, hey, what's that Oval Office? That doesn't sound like, it's close to a bar.
Good one.
That was the way he just said. He goes, it's close to a bar. It's as close as you can get to a bar.
Did we get any confirmation on RFK, who he actually picked?
So RFK was on Fox News last night, said that Aaron Rodgers is battle tested. He has been hammered by the press and stood up for the things he's believed in. He thinks he's a critical thinker. And I think that we need that. We need people who understand that you cannot always trust authority. RFK was quite glowing about Aaron Rodgers while he was on set of Fox News last night. So I think this is it.
This is it now? I don't think it's going to
He's
happen.
the betting favorite right
But
now.
I'm telling you, Armin, how weird is this though?
It's weird as hell, yes.
They're doubling down on it.
They're not
I thought it was like just a way to get
attention,
some names thrown out there and some attention, but when you're doubling down on it, I mean, what are the chances he's going to be on a ticket that we all walk into a booth here the second Tuesday in November and we're actually going to see his name on it?
Yeah, we're living in weird times. There's no doubt about it. I think we can all agree on that. It's like, it's one of those things that it's like, is this reality? Is it not? But it just feels like that's what it's been for the last, how long? I have no idea.
Listen, I took it upon myself to go do some show prep and walk down the aisle to the conservative talk station, talk to my boy Dan O'Donnell. And, yesterday, he was quite dismissive of the idea, right? When we met in the hallway over by the coffee pot.
He kind of poo-pooed it a little bit more, yeah.
Today, he thinks it's a real possibility. He said, you see CNN start throwing some stuff out yesterday and some disgusting ideas.
They did
about the Sandy Hook situation.
Absolutely.
Disturbing idea of a conspiracy there. But if they're throwing stuff out on him, and TMZ is reporting that apparently the DNC is taking it seriously. I don't know that this is just a throwaway that I had assumed it would be. And ha ha, in 2 more days, John, we would all be laughing like, oh, remember that 15 hours where we thought Rodgers was going to be the vice president? Might be a little longer than that potentially.
Well, okay. So we're starting to talk things that we've heard Aaron Rodgers do or say that we thought was just, hyperbole. That was just a little exaggeration, just a joke. I mean, I thought it was absolutely insane that he drank some crazy mud concoction to make himself vomit and poop all over himself.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he didn't do, he did it. I thought this
willingly and again,
dark room.
I thought this contemplation to go spend 3 days in complete darkness with nothing around you. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that. No. I don't want to do it. I couldn't.
Dave talked about how hard it would be.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. He did it. Vice president. I mean, it's just another one of the things on the long list of things that Aaron Rodgers would do that I would never do.
Right. Like you mentioned it to Dave yesterday that like you get a lot of people asking, is he really like that? Is it really that? There's also got to be so many times where you scratch your head and saying, hey man, I don't know if it's him, but listen, I'm going to be surprised. I would not be surprised if he's doing anything nowadays.
And the crazy thing is about this, you would expect a guy like that's the way he would be all the time, right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
You get him on a golf course and you talk some smack to him, he's just like me, and I'll get him to throw a golf club.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll get him to lose his mind.
So you can get him out of that element
awesome.
a little bit, out of his like his chi, his zen state. Like, yeah, I get your point, John. Yeah, it's an enigma.
We need to get youth making the future vice president of the United States to throw a golf club this year. Like, I think that might be the mission for summer for us to be able to get going. I just love the idea. I can't not think about being able to cover the presidential election and think about, listen, we're not covering the presidential election. All right. All due respect to all those that listen. There are way better outlets for you to be listening to the coverage of the presidential election.
We don't read that part of the paper. Yeah.
But if there's a starting quarterback in the NFL that's on the ticket, we're going to be paying attention to it a little bit more than I would have anticipated. And it's going to be for humor reasons, which is good. I always enjoy bringing more humor to the world.
I want to know at what point in time the Jets go, oh my gosh, Now we know why the Packers wanted to trade him.
Well, yeah.
Woody Johnson
did
has
he
to
get
be
to
sitting there
play?
saying,
Training
son
camp?
of
Is
a
he gonna
gun.
play?
This is training camp, and he's got to leave to hit the campaign trail for 2 days. Like, what are we doing here?
Saleh and Hackett are having meetings saying, wait, so what are we going to do? What else can we do? I mean, guy wants to go to campaign. He left for 5 weeks to go rehab last year, and we didn't do anything. So we got to let him go over to Philadelphia and try to talk with RFK.
Has there ever been a trade? And it hasn't done this yet. But if he is on the VP, if he is on that ticket, that independent ticket as a VP, has there ever been a trade go sideways as poorly or as quickly as they got 5 plays out of him last year? 4 plays, whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
4 plays.
And now he's going to be on a ticket for a presidential election. Like, could you no? And in New York at that, the distraction of this, I can't think of a single trade that has gone more sideways for a team that they absolutely thought they hit out of the park.
Yeah, I don't think there's one that gets 4 plays and then maybe 4 more years where you got to sit there and wait to see if you're going to be able to cash in on it.
That was good.
I mean, you're just sitting there waiting. All right, maybe 45 is the year. Yes. Whoops. All right. Now he's going to try to go run with president number 48 of the United States. It's 9 to noon. John Kuhn right there. I'm Billy Schmidt. Armin, sorry. We'll round third, head for home. Hand it off to Mike Heller before at the top of the hour. Stay with us. You got the game. 9 to noon on the game. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate everybody being with us and everybody watching and listening on YouTube and X all throughout the day. Like Matt from Sun Prairie, who he gave us a heads up that the audio online was not necessarily working super well. Said it's fixed now. Your voices would get quiet and then loud. But I love the YouTube stream. More and more people, Armin, are always talking up, jumping on the stream, being able to hang out with us throughout the entire day.
Got a lot of listeners, a lot of comments on the YouTube stream. We appreciate all those that are chiming in throughout the day. Some funny stuff on there. Some stuff
I was going to say there's probably quite a bit of stuff that you can't read from the last part of a 10 o'clock hour conversation that we had about Baker Square, and Cheesecake Factory and stuff like that.
I see Joe on there saying we pay attention to the stream. We appreciate that, as opposed to others that ignore the YouTube folks. We're never ignoring everybody at all, but we just got we got a lot of plate spinning. We got a lot of things going on. So if we're not talking about you, doesn't mean we're ignoring you. We see what you're saying out there.
No, and there's absolutely no way we could respond to everything through here, right? Like we wish we could. Right. We wish we could bring everything on the air. We just simply can't. We just get way too much information. However, we had I think it was TK yesterday say, man, you guys got talking text line, YouTube, and Twitter comments. How on earth are you doing it? Well, we got Armin Sari and we got the best in the business being able to do it. That's how.
I appreciate that, Billy. Thank you. Thanks for gassing me up a little bit.
Always will. That. And you know who I really love to gas up? And my guys from Happy Place Hemp and happyplacehemp.com. You want to relax the right way coming up this weekend and for the big basketball tournaments, Happy Place Hemp is the way to do it. Enjoying their THC and CBD infused seltzers. Drift. It's brand new. It's got no alcohol, no calories, and really no problems when you're drifting into happiness. Free shipping on 3 or more 4-packs, and more importantly, your chance to taste and enjoy Drift is Friday, March 15th, 4 to 6 at Amon's Beer and Wine on Loomis Road, 26210, Wind Lake, Wisconsin. Wind Lake off Loomis Road. Amon's Beer and Wine, 4 to 6. The guys from Happy Place Hemp are going to be out there doing a tasting of Drift, THC and CBD infused seltzer. When you go out, taste it. You grab yourself a 4-pack, you're going to get a free can koozie. It's those nice, slim, slender cans that you're going to enjoy, that you're going to love. And the only way that you're going to be able to understand how much you love it is going and testing it out coming up at Amon's Beer and Wine in Wind Lake. And you can also get all the other Happy Place Hemp items at happyplacehemp.com. Always use promo code Billy. Get yourself 25% off every time your entire order.
All right. Love it. Billy, Chris, and the 262. Go Badgers and Marquette today. Indeed. Both teams starting their conference tournament jaunts today. We're going to have you right here for the Badgers and Maryland as they tip off soon here. It's going to be, I think, in an hour, 1 o'clock, right? So they tip off.
They say 1 o'clock.
But, they adjust those timings. And then the good thing is it's the LePay and Butch show until then, right? I mean, that's how that works, right?
And I can only imagine that they're going to be full of enough comments and content to be able to fill that time, because this is, and you'll see this later on, hopefully tomorrow with 2 games at the Big East tournament. That first game's always running late. Now the Big East actually staggers their games in 2.5 hour increments.
They do, yes,
to somewhat buffer it. Big Ten does it in 2 hours.
Right. So there's
all due respect, Big Ten.
They're always behind. Yeah.
You're always going to be behind.
It's like a flight schedule. Don't do it. It's like a flight schedule. Now, even though, and the farther you are back, it's like a flight schedule. The farther you are back, the more likely you are to get delayed.
And you're always going to get hosed at the back end.
Marquette has the late game tonight at Madison Square Garden, the Big Apple. It's 8:30 Central against Villanova, who almost blew it yesterday and lost to DePaul. I keep talking about that because I wanted to manifest it, but it didn't happen. So Marquette, Villanova tonight. 8:30 or whenever everybody else is done. So we'll see. UConn and Xavier at halftime right now. UConn does have a 1-point lead. They were down early in most of the first half in this one. So you notice it's sort of like things can happen in these conference tournaments that we don't expect, and that continues to be the case here as we kind of go into these major conference tournaments as well. So
and us laying the 2.5, potentially 3 or straight money line with the Richmond Spiders. Don't love St. Joe's coming up here on a 7-0 run. I don't love this one, but it does make a lot of sense here, Armin. Matt Norlander covers a lot of college basketball for CBS Sports. Vanderbilt working towards severing its ties with Jerry Stackhouse as head coach. His firing should be formal soon. Terms of Stackhouse's buyout, though, not publicly known, but are believed to be north of $15 million.
Yeah, because he was a hot candidate when he came on board. I remember that. It was a lot of buzz about Stack. And the fact that they got him was seen by many to be as a boon that he was going to, be a young rising star in the coaching ranks. Obviously, we know what he did as a coach, player, former Buck for a while, if you remember that.
Yeah.
But,
he was a Buck when I was a ball kid in my freshman year. Yep.
It just didn't work out down there for him. It never did. So we'll be interested to see what happens next for him. But a big buyout, which means he had a big offer when he first started.
A big buyout means big contract, big dollars coming back to Stack. Heck of a news, heck of a day, and more money gets thrown around college sports to send coaches elsewhere. But then we, fight over dollars and cents when players are going into places. Interesting how that always works. It's our Quick Trip takeaway of the day, brought to you by Quick Trip. Need something for dinner tonight? Do not cook. Go stop at Quick Trip, pick up a freshly prepared, absolutely delicious take-home meal you might even find.
Spaghetti, chicken Alfredo, potatoes, salad. He likes to stick to what he knows.
Or what I'm grabbing for lunch here today, Quick Trip spicy chicken sandwich on a Thursday. It's always on special.
You can't go wrong, buddy. Can't go wrong.
Cannot do it.
Hopefully you enjoy that. Hopefully tonight your next meal will be at Secret Pizza or something of the like.
Hey,
there in the desert. So have a good time. I know you're excited for that one. All right.
I can't wait. I know you are fiending to get on out to New York City. Well, safe travels to you as well.
Thank you. Excited for my first Big East tournament ever. So thank you very much. Appreciate
Not
that.
as excited as I am for you. Best thing is we're doing these goodbyes. And Armin and I will be on the other side with you as we hand it off to Nick Bruzewitz. Mike Heller doing some work right now in the Brewers clubhouse. He's got us some Matt Arnold that you're going to hear coming up in about 7-10 minutes from right now. We'll hand it off to Heller. Armin and I are back on the other side, but we'll try to be better tomorrow. It'll be Kuhn and Schneidman being better tomorrow. We'll talk to you coming up on Monday and Tuesday. It's 9 to noon on The Game.